Hello, and welcome to Revamped, a rewatch podcast that revisits my top favorite shows and movies. I'm your host, Brandon Alexander, joined by my co-host,
Courtney Autumn.
Venture with us as we set our sights on the infamous Hellmouth to cover 90s cult classic Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Follow along from the beginning, spoiler-free, as Courtney views the show for the first time and I revisit the series for new takes and a fresh perspective on its narrative.
Each season, every episode, in order, we will follow Buffy Summers and her friends to examine their character development, the show's underlying themes, along with its major story arcs, all while engaging in conversations, sharing our own authentic thoughts and feelings to what's unfolding before us.
So sharpen your stakes, load your crossbows, and join us as we explore the supernatural world of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Let's get into the episode. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Revamped. Today we're going to be covering Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 3, Episode 10, Amends. Aired December 15th, 1998, written and directed by Joss Whedon. Today we're joined by Lea and Sarah from Investigating Angel podcast.
Hello.
Welcome, my friends.
Hello.
Thanks for having us. This is so fun already. I know we've only been
I know, right?
for
The first
30
15 minutes of us
but...
clowning around and messing up and freaking out. This is just an unhinged chat in the first
so
4 minutes of being together.
That we didn't get the other stuff on recording.
Oh, I have it on recording.
Well, Lea's not recorded, but yeah. Oh my gosh.
True. That was hilarious. I don't even know what just unfolded. But for anyone who might not already know, Sarah is one of the hosts over on Becoming Buffy podcast. She actually joined us before along with her sisters Leah and Tabby when we were covering Becoming Part 2. So you've all been acquainted with her, but we mentioned back then she is also host on Investigating Angel along with Leia. So now I have the other podcast on today, and it only felt right to bring the both of you on for this Angel-centric episode. A fitting, thing for amends. Makes sense.
Yeah. It's a good episode.
Yeah, it's great to come on for this episode because, I said it in our first recording, that didn't work, but this is often considered episode 0 of Angel.
And here she goes giving more spoilers.
She said I already spoiled it for...
doubling down on my spoilers.
Okay, it's been 25 years, okay? Courtney, I'm sorry, girl. You need to...
Let me show you.
Oh my god.
Let me give you a visual clue here. Oh man.
Yeah. We should release this as a video episode.
I wish I was recording the video. I thought about it and I was like, that would be fun. Okay, so listen, I know you're getting really acquainted with these two now and what kind of shenanigans might take place this,
who
really
knows?
Chill episode, to be quite honest. But
No.
the only thing we didn't get to do last time when we had Sarah almost get to know, guys a little, I wouldn't say more personally, but we didn't spend time doing our normal questionnaire stuff that we do for our guests when we're on there just because we had all three of you girls we were trying to get through Becoming.
Mm-hmm.
We had a time frame for Tabby and then technically Courtney too. We all wanted to not sit here for 4 hours and talk about Becoming Part 2 because we could have very easily.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, usually when we have guests on, we always like to ask what kind of brought you to Buffy and then what your favorite season is of the show without any extra attention to that fact.
Leia.
No,
So whoever...
Well, I started watching Buffy. I found Buffy when Netflix used to have all the OG shows and everything, when you can rent the videos from Netflix. And I grew up very conservative Christian and never ever saw any real strong female characters on my screen. And then I got my own laptop my senior year of high school. And so thus began my journey of being able to find all this really fun, fascinating stuff online without my parents being over my shoulder all the time. And I'd always loved gothic horror, and Buffy really stuck out to me on top of the fact that it was a girl that was, heading her own series. So that's how I found Buffy, fell in love with it, preached the gospel of Buffy to the rest of my 4 sisters, and have never looked back. I've just always loved that show. And I would say my favorite season, I think is season 5. Probably.
Okay.
Wow.
A little interchangeable.
It is. It's it depends upon what I'm in the mood for, but I really love season 5.
As for me, I actually grew up watching Buffy because my mom used to watch it when it was on TV. So I've been watching it since I was 10, way too young. But I don't know, it's just always a show that I loved. And I remember like watching it with my mom, and then she slowly started getting me like the DVDs. And I remember I had season 1 on like VHS. I don't know where it went now, but yeah, it was just always cool to me. Like, I was that kid who was like, I'm going to get called to be a Slayer one day when Buffy dies.
Same.
Right?
I was a full-on boy, and I was like, into every generation, a girl is changed.
Exactly. And in terms of my favorite season, I feel like it's hard for me to choose because I love season 2 and 3 like almost equally. But if I had to pick a season that I rewatch more episodes from, and I could like rewatch the season as a whole from beginning to end and like no skips, it would be season 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that that's my favorite season in like the entire Buffyverse. I think
it's pretty fantastic. You guys loving going through season 3? Like, Courtney, are you enjoying the episodes and stuff? Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
I think so far I've been enjoying the content that we've been creating with season 3 and what we've been talking about and getting into story-wise. I've just found it so much more like riveting listening back to and like getting to dissect. And I'm finding so much more meat to chew on. And we're only now 10 episodes in. So we're kind of getting closer to the thick of the season. So it's going to be fun to continue on and see where everything starts to unfold. And we got a nice little lineup of guests like coming in the back half of the season, whereas we really haven't had too many. You guys are our second guest this season. So that makes it a lot more fun. I did want to say really quick, just before we get into the actual episode, you guys obviously recently wrapped up your coverage of Angel. And I was curious, now that you've had the little breather and nonstop podcasting grind that you were in for several years between the 2 shows, how does it feel stepping back in front of the mic and recording again today?
It's weird.
It feels a little weird. I'm not going to lie.
Well, you know, I'm the reconnector, so.
Yeah, rebranding now. Yeah, it's a little odd. Like, when I was sitting down, and Tabby and Leah and I talked about this, you'll hear in our bonus episode that we're, I think, releasing this week. But, like, we were talking about how we sat back down, and it was like, how do we do this every week for, like, 5 years? Because there's a lot of prep that goes into it, and you forget about it, like, watching the episode, doing the research, and all that stuff. And so getting back into the swing of things is a little, like, it's a little bit jarring and stuff, but yeah, I don't know. I'm excited whenever we get back into it, but I'm loving break for sure right now.
Yeah. I'm like dying. I feel like I'm swimming like underwater and like barely getting to the surface most weeks. But we got years and years and years in this, so it's nice to hear that affirmation, like that you eventually make it to the end. You get sick for weeks afterwards. Exactly. You start spoiling everything for new watchers. Like, it's great.
Join the ranks.
It's just
yeah, I don't know. I think like I just had to dig out my microphone because I put it away like back in its box because I'm like, I don't want to leave it on the show. I know, I'm just like, I'm ready to be on break.
She said, I'm done. She said, I don't want to see Mike in my fucking room if his ass stops.
Like it was on like this shelf that's behind me, and I'm like, I want to put a plant there instead right now, so we're gonna put the microphone
on top of
away.
Lorne?
No, not on top of Lorne, on top of my other background.
Yeah.
Wait, who's Lorne?
I don't know. You tell us.
It's me.
Her best
That's
friend.
a trap.
Oh, sorry. It's the host.
Yeah, that's my friends, actually.
I'm dead.
But yeah.
Those are actually her roommates. That's who those.
Yeah, exactly. God.
This is the best joke. I've been loving these little screen caps I've got because I usually tell people before we start to take a picture, but now they're impromptu and hilarious. So I'll get a really good one before we all leave.
You should get a group shot of Leia and her friends at the very end here.
Yeah, honestly, I will. I'll get you. Yep. No, right now.
Oh, this is perfect.
Okay, that's the screen cap for like what I post on Instagram to tag y'all that y'all featured in this episode. I'm dead. Okay, so let's move along. This week, it's Christmas in Sunnydale, but for Angel, there's no peace on Earth. Haunted by visions of his past victims, he finds himself tormented by a dark force, the first evil. As Willow and Oz navigate the fragile tension of their relationship, Buffy becomes drawn into Angel's spiral, fighting to save him from himself. The title for Amends obviously is about making a restitution or seeking forgiveness for past wrongs. Angel, freshly back from hell, is racked with guilt over everything that he's done as jealous in the past. He wants to make amends, but doesn't see this to be possible. And it's also a play on words. Its title resonates with the Christmas season. Making amends a part of reconciliation, renewal, and rebirth. It's a season tied to forgiveness, redemption, and the possibility of light and darkness. So I feel like it's very fitting what we get from this episode for them to like have played all these portions. Once again, they bring all the elements together for the show, which is just like chef's kiss is always the best way that I can put that out there. Guest stars this episode, we do though have 𝑦𝑵𝑽𝑬𝑺𝑻 back as Willie the Snitch, and Robia LaMorte reprising her role and final appearance on Buffy as Jenny Calendar. She said, I'm out of here. I got to go be a minister, because I found out today that that's what she went to go do. And I was like, what? I think Frank told us that whenever we recorded with him, like one of the times out of the 18 hours we spent recording with him. But
and it got lost in the sauce, apparently.
Got lost in the sauce. But yeah, he gave us a lot because he met her and he had told us different things. He said she was a dancer and all these other things. So I guess she just went off to live,
that's
more
interesting.
angel. It's interesting. Her last angel, like, centric episode that she was on the show, she went to become an angel afterwards. All her stuff.
Yeah, seriously.
So we're gonna start with Courtney first for some opening thoughts. What did you think of Amends when we watched it?
I really liked it because I liked getting more of Angel's past, which I always do. I always like getting more backstory for some reason on everyone. But I feel like these episodes that kind of showcase Angel's past and compare him to who he is now is very humanizing in a way for him. I just feel like, thank God for these episodes, because I get to see that it's kind of unfair. You sympathize for him inevitably. And that's kind of how I felt for everyone in the episode in a way, because you sympathize for Buffy and you sympathize for Giles. But being that it's angel-centric it was great to see into his past a little bit more and to just, like I said, humanize him and feel almost like he's being punished for a person or a version of himself that he's not always like susceptible to. So it creates this huge wave of sympathy in my eyes for Angel. And it was equal parts cute also because of like the little Willow Oz glimpses that we get, which were refreshing. And but it was sad at the end. But it was also nice at the end, but it was more sad.
That's how I think it's supposed to make you feel.
More sad. Yeah, so it was the usual wave of emotions, I guess, for a Buffy episode. But I really, really enjoyed this episode overall.
I feel like maybe we should pause for 2 seconds to talk about Sarah Michelle Gellar's bangs being featured in this
I cannot.
episode.
Listen. Nobody gets to slander the baby bangs in front of me because, listen, if anybody is going to pull off those bangs, it's Sarah Michelle Gellar, in my humble opinion. I think she looks hella cute. Honestly.
Listen, I didn't say we should hate on them this episode. I said let's talk about them.
We have to talk about
the episode. They have a role all themselves.
They do. They are a paid actor in this episode.
Listen, obviously that's a trend of the late 90s. And me as a hairdresser, I have appreciation for baby bangs. But my sadness always comes from the fact that it just came with her hair getting fried off. Like, it's not like a Courtney Cox situation from Scream 3 where they cut her wig too short and she was trying to do a bang and then she had to wear it that way. Why they didn't just get her a new wig or whatever, go with her regular hair, who knows? Whatever. But of course, Sarah Michelle Gellar had been filming Cruel Intentions, so her hair was brunette for a long while, and getting all that warmth out of her hair to go back to Buffy blonde, especially the beautiful shade that it was in season 2, very platinumized and stuff like that, very cool tone. They ain't got none of that this season for poor Buffy. That's why they switched into the later seasons. When we see her goddess hair along another season, they finally was like, let's embrace warmth on Sarah.
Yeah. I mean, in the beginning of this season, it was more like strawberry blonde, and then she had the 2 like really, really highlighted pieces in the front, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Those are the pieces that broke off 100%.
Like, I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion, but I think this is Buffy's worst hair season, to be completely
I think so. Well,
I would agree too.
I didn't really like her style of hair later on in season 6, but her hair color was at least, like, her hair looked healthier. But yeah, I agree. It's very
Absolutely.
all over the map. It feels like by
Yeah.
the time we get to the end of season 3, her hair is much better, but it's a
Yes.
journey.
It is.
It's a journey.
It's not always great. It's a little rough.
Well, I mean, in comparison to her hair in season 2, which was like always so adorable,
Right.
like,
yeah, it's been
you
hit or
know,
miss.
like
I
the
think there's
little
some hair
bob.
pieces too in some of the
Mhm.
episodes this season that you're like, ooh, I don't think that goes with her hair.
Yeah. Seriously.
I'm dead at this chat. It's crazy. I feel like I sit there and talk about fashion and all this other stuff. I figured I'd just get it out of the way now. You know what I mean? Because if it needs to come up awkwardly later, then we'll be sitting there in the middle of
I
the
mean, we
episode
have
and
to
people
also
are like,
talk about
"You know,
later
shut
the
up."
iconic blue trench coat. Cause
Oh, of course. It's like the second one featured on the series. I didn't put it in my
Exactly.
notes at all, so you have to remember to bring that up.
Okay. I got you.
Amends, though, for me, I feel like is one of those episodes. Obviously, on the surface, it's really good, and you know what's coming down the line. Kind of what we've been like almost spoiling the whole way. It does start, kick off Angel and a little bit more of his stuff, and I can't say too much about that anymore. You know, those who know obviously know, but I feel like what makes it stand out to me right away is that we get our second holiday themed episode, and I love a holiday theme. No matter what season we're dealing with, it could be St. Patrick's Day and there's leprechauns running around. You know, I'm gonna show up for it and be happier than a regular old episode. But this time it's Christmas, and like if you guys don't know it or remember this, my last name is Christmas, so there we're gonna throw that out there. Yeah, it's not really
my
Alexander. That's my
God.
middle name. I think I said that in our intro episode, like the first time around, but you know, I'm a huge fan of not Christmas.
I love it.
But this episode I am. Regardless, I know I'm rambling, but I love to see everyone kind of leaning into the spirit of the season and dealing with what they do in Sunnydale, like what Christmas looks like in Sunnydale. And then obviously at the same time, it's the Hellmouth, so we're dealing with big problems. But this time it's not Monster of the Week. The spotlight's on Angel. And I think I'll always love this. Is kind of like really the one Angel, other than his self-titled episode in season 1, it's really the only Angel-centric episode we kind of get, other than the fact that all of season 2 is Angel-centric.
Yeah.
You know, in a way, for its theme and like what's going on. So we don't have to deal with that. The fact that the first evil makes its appearance, pulling his strings and haunting him and forcing him to face the monster inside of himself. And Jealous is obviously the monster we've always talked about dealing with, not so much Angel. So it's interesting that we're dealing with this in this one.
Mhm.
Obviously his soul is what has chained him to this darkness in a way and made everything like, I don't know, just brighter. I don't know. It's so hard to navigate this, even just right now trying to read off my notes. Like, just not start saying like, and then like this makes sense because of this later
I
on.
know,
You know?
it's so hard.
But I don't know. It just really stages like the whole redemption arc and him trying to come like from something, because here in this episode, he basically almost tries to KO himself. Like he's out of here, and not in a positive way. And I don't know what other words are appropriate to say. Like when it comes to that, like he's already unalived. So I can't say he's going to unalive himself. Like he's not alive. I don't know. It's hard, but it makes a cool theme. I think the episode mirrors perfectly seasonal depression as well. And that's something we hear about a whole lot just in the world. And obviously that type of this season comes with seasonal depression. Seasonal, but you get what I mean. The winter time, the colder months is typically when people start to have all these issues and stuff. So I like the theme that's kind of like subtextual in the episode as well, that probably people that, not myself, I haven't dealt with that the same way, but there are probably people out there that might have found comfort in this episode. And this is kind of a comfort episode for myself to go back and watch because it's kind of humbling. There's good messages all across it, even though it's kind of bleak and heavy in other parts. It just reflects on all of that and kind of lets you sink into that with the world of like your favorite people and heal that way. So that was something I found myself thinking about this time around. And then obviously, like Courtney was saying, I like the flashbacks that we get here, because flashbacks always tell, I don't know, it puts useful information here in a special way, because we're not so much just going back to his past like we did in Becoming and learning his journey. We're learning this time around about how he used to kill people and like the types of things that he did. And probably they had to minutely choose a certain handful of them, but the ones that possibly stood out in his head, you know, the ones that we get on screen are ones that you're like, whoa, that's kind of fucked up. I'll talk about that maybe a little bit later and stuff too. And then obviously when I was like young, seeing this surprise return of Jenny Calendar just before my face, I remember tripping out when I used to watch this, and I was like so confused because little me did not get the concept of the first evil at all, or that it was using the image of like these people. And then like I was like, well, what is it fading into? I don't know. It took me later in life to really understand what was happening. Then obviously something else goes down and all this other stuff. That's how we do it, Leah. We say it that way. Leah didn't give it away. This
is the problem with me not having recorded in so long. I'm so shocked that we went through all of our podcasts with not too many spoilers.
We had spoilers, and it was
something
mostly
I have to like get used to. I had to like get used to it, because obviously like having seen everything, I'm just like,
You get used to talking about the big picture, and not having to
For
hold
sure.
some things back. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only other thing really I want to say is like the little arcs of healing that are tucked into this episode, because obviously this is a healing renewal type vibe of an episode. Buffy and Faith finally break past the awkward silence and reconnect after where they kind of left things at Revelations. And as Courtney knows now, I'm always a devastated person when we come to the end of Revelations. Faith sitting in that dingy hotel room just looking all sad, like always just hits me in a weird way. And I'm like, no, go over there and tell her like you're coming over for dinner now. I don't give a fuck. Like that's kind of friend I am. I'm like, I'm gonna drag you out of your like whatever, or like be like you're doing that thing, just like she does this episode. I'm just like, Faith, quit trying to keep a stiff upper lip and do all these things. Just like go kiss your girlfriend and it'll all be fine. Off the side of them though, Willow and Oz, Willow and Oz obviously have a beautiful moment compared to like what we get from Xander and Cordelia. They kind of make amends this episode as well. And then Xander kind of makes amends with Buffy in a small little way in the episode too, and kind of sets some of that Angel stuff behind. I feel like this is where we get that breath of reprieve from Xander doing the fuckery that he's been pissing us off. I mean, that's not to say he's not going to do anything else in life that will make us upset, but it's kind of tails off a little bit. This is more where it's, I feel like in future episodes, this isn't really a spoiler. Willow's always like, you know, don't make a fuss over Angel when we mention him on the series and stuff like that. Or if Angel gets brought up, just like look the other way. And it's usually Willow as this little odd buffer. But yeah, it's a good symbolic episode. It's very moving. What do you guys think of it? Obviously rewatching it numerous probably times across life. Sarah's recorded it one time before. I don't know. I feel like you covered it at some point whenever weren't you doing like Patreon stuff or something where you were watching Buffy episodes or
No.
Leia?
Yeah, Leia's never covered it, which is going to be kind of fun to hear her thoughts.
Yeah, I've never covered this episode.
Maybe I had a guest or something like that.
It was Najee. It was Naj. She has a YouTube channel where she reacts to it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, of course I've seen those, but I don't know. Something I heard back in the day, I could have swore, but I'm probably so mistaken because I've listened to 14 Buffy podcasts. So.
Yeah, it wasn't I.
And now I have one of my own. Okay. Well, either way, what do you guys think about amends, especially like just now this take?
Yeah. I mean, this is one of my favorite episodes of this season. For all the same reasons that you guys said, obviously. I love it when we get into Angel's psyche, and I love that this is addressing all the stuff that happened last season. I'm a person that loves to see Angel suffer because I think he deserves to suffer. And I love him as a character, but I think that's what makes him so interesting, and that's what makes me sympathize with him. Like, I think if they just gloss over all the things that he's done and never make him confront it, at that point, I would think, you know, this is not very interesting. But it's the fact that, like, we see him confronting his past visually and, like, he feels it and he's being haunted by these things. Like, the choices that he makes, I think, just really speaks to his character. And, you know, like I said before, this is absolutely the beginning of his redemption arc that we'll see moving forward. Yeah, I mean, I love this episode. I love the dream sharing scenes.
The one specific one other than the other one.
The scene between them at like the end of the episode on the hilltop is probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire Buffyverse. I just think it's so powerful. And like, I have never really dealt with depression in that way, but I know that a lot of people have, and I know that it resonates with a lot of people, and I think it's a really beautiful and really devastating portrayal of like somebody who's at the end of their rope and how a loved one deals with it. So I really love that. And yeah, like you said, a lot of like themes of forgiveness between all the characters. I think the thing that I love so much about season 3 in particular is that this is the part of the show where like all the characters are truly at their very best and everybody gets their turn to shine. And this episode is a great example of it, similarly to like episodes that like to come. But I love that everybody gets a moment and it's not just focused, like it's an Angel-centric episode, but you get stuff with Giles and Angel, you get stuff with Giles and Buffy, you get stuff with Xander and Buffy and Willow and Oz. Like everybody gets a moment, and it's the only Christmas episode in the entire series, and I think they did a really good job with it. So yeah, love this episode.
Yeah, I think from a storytelling perspective, I'm always shocked at how well they don't brush aside the very, very like intense things that happened with Angel in the previous season, but somehow manage to humanize him even more and cause you to sympathize with him, but also at the same time go, yeah, like he was like they really show you how horrible he was even more so. Like they lean into Jenny Calendar's death and what he did, and I think it just makes like going back to passion and other episodes like that just as rewarding, because I think sometimes shows try to soften what their characters have done in the attempt to do something further with them and make them more humanized for the audience. And I love that the show doesn't do that. The show exemplifies Angel taking accountability for everything that he's done. But at the end of the day, like, you walk away feeling super bad for Angel, but also like, yeah, you still have done horrible things. And like, kind of like what Lea was saying too. I mean, like, the way that they weave together the Oz and Willow story, you have Giles getting to have a confrontation with Angel. Like, it's just, it's almost cathartic watching this episode because there's so many things. And I always get so, like, I'm always amazed at how late into the season this episode comes, because I'm sure, like, Courtney, as you're watching, Angel pops in little bits here and there, but you're kind of like, okay, but I want to know why he's back. What are you going to do, Angel? Like, you're waiting for all of this, and it's 10 episodes in, and then it comes, and it's really satisfying to see the Angel, specifically the Angel and Giles confrontation.
Yeah.
And Buffy and Angel have it out too. The talking about how Buffy's like, you hurt me, and I, like, everything you have done, you did to me, and we believe that because we walked with Buffy throughout the entirety of season 2. Like, the way that the writers wrote this episode is just fantastic because we have walked through all of this stuff. And so we've lived it. And so it just is, it's just fantastic storytelling. And it's just so fun to go back and revisit the episodes in season 2 and then come back to this episode. And that's why the show itself is so rewatchable, because you are always being informed by the episodes that you see in the future. Like, they help change things for the episodes in the past too. So I don't know. I just, every time I watch this episode, and for all of season 3 and stuff, I always pull something new out of it. And this rewatch was no exception. It was just so good.
Courtney, whenever we were doing the Slayer predictions for Beauty and the Beast, I was like, Homecoming, it's the next episode. What do you think is going to happen in it? And she's like, is it Buffy and Angel centric? And we get all the answers to why he's back and stuff like that. I was like, no.
You're like, look, another month.
No.
Yeah.
I was
Here we are now.
Give us 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's jump into amends then. Into every generation, there's a Christmas episode. I found some way to say that differently every time, because now I always like, I miss the little intro thing from the first and second season. And
you're like, whoa.
Most episodes I've been like, all right, into every generation, blah, 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 this happens. Like,
I love
I'm trying
it.
to make it a thing. I forget some episodes, but some episodes it just comes out. Well, we open on the streets of a flashback to the past in Dublin 1838, which is so cool because we have not seen a flashback since Angelus was cursed and becoming, as we've already said. And I love it right from jump because of the time period, accompanied by Christoph Beck's score for Dublin. He also has a couple more scenes throughout the episode where he has the other scores going on. I have the titles written at the very end of my notes for some reason instead of right here, but you know, one's called, like, I think Magic Snow, the snow at the end or something like that. I've listened to all these on YouTube because I'll put it on Buffy scores and just listening to like stuff from the background. Like,
Christoph Beck is just like unreal. I didn't even know he was Canadian.
Amazing.
I'm pretty sure he's Canadian.
We follow a worried man trying to get away from something being snatched up by what he fears, aka Angelus and 𝑽𝑵𝑽𝑺. This man we come to find named Daniel apparently owes him some money, but has none to pay his debt with, so Angelus takes it from him in the form of blood biting into him and draining him.
Daniel, be of good cheer. It's Christmas.
Present day Angel waking up in his bed, having been dreaming about his past event. We find him next on the streets in Sunnydale, bumping into Buffy, who is Christmas shopping. We also get that it's Christmas time in Sunnydale. Just put it up to there. That way I get the whole Christmas thing out, like all of that. Like this whole dream sequence, you guys, like we were talking about ragging on hair and stuff, and so many of the podcasts that I've listened to were just commentary from friends in the past. They always hate on, some of them are warranted to hate on it, especially on the Angel series when we get flashbacks, because obviously this is the theme for Angel. He's got a past that we get to see sometimes, and they're always hating on his wigs. Like,
and also the mustache, like the mustache in this episode.
I like the mustache.
Okay,
I like it. I'm kind of into it.
Can we talk about the fact that like vampires are technically dead? So like, how did this man get a mustache? Like, how did it grow out of his face?
There are other alternatives for hair, Leia. Like,
well, my headcanon is that Angelus is such a
1838, but
dramatic bitch. Like, he's such a whimsical, dramatic bitch that he was just like, I feel like having a mustache this week. And he just like went and glued
wanted
one
to
on his
twist
face.
it.
Because he wants to
each
be like
individual hair
like
with
a
tweezers.
mustache twirling villain.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, for
I don't know
Christmas,
how it works.
I want to be a villain.
Those are the things that that go off in the show. Like, you just have no explanation of how vampires can smoke a cigarette. They have no lung air to pull in a drag. So like,
how about boners?
what,
Like, how did
what,
they get boners?
what is this?
They're technically dead.
Oh god. Honestly, if y'all want most of your answers, go over there. And, well, that's what, like, I think Steph actually said that from Prophecy Girls, that they like drink the blood to fill up and do their thing, and like that's what gives them the
that's the whole point of the vampire lore, is the fact that they aren't able to produce their own blood. They're cold, so that's why they drink blood, which fits with the whole metaphor of vampires for this show, right? Of adolescence, of the patriarchy and stuff, assuming youth. Yeah. Anyway, I can go on. I won't. You all have heard of it before.
Y'all got y'all have, my other little note is just like, y'all have obviously talked about probably his Irish accent a lot, because having covered Angel, and I don't necessarily remember your takes and stuff like that, but do y'all think his accent's like okay? I think it's like in the middle.
It's gotten better.
Like, I don't care enough. Yeah.
Based on what my Irish friends have said, it's horrendous. So I'll leave it at that.
Shit, damn, okay. Oh yeah, Tony said something like that.
He said it was not bad. Tony said it wasn't bad, but I was like, he said it depends on where in Ireland you're saying that he's from.
I'm glad you remember.
Yeah.
The only other note that I wanted to make is Sarah and David walking onto set in this episode. She probably saw him in that wig, and he saw her bangs, and she tried to comment on his long hair, and he was like, "Girl, you ain't got room to talk today. Like, you just got 100%. A haircut."
100%. David Boreanaz did not notice her hair at all.
Probably not.
He was like,
he probably heard everybody else like whispering about her hair, and then was like, "What do you mean?"
He walked up.
She looked like
really
she just looked like that last month.
David Boreanaz walked in and was like, "Hey, Sarah, did you see our sex scene?"
He said, "I get to be naked again."
That's when we get to take your shirt off.
Okay, so him and Buffy exchange convo on how Angel's clearly not out there shopping, because vampires, most likely do not do that, and not being into Christmas and all of being a thing. He agrees with that, but also saying that he couldn't sleep. They talk about how he is, since they're not talking anymore, since Revelations. Buffy realizing in conversation, Angel's staring off at nothing, but we see he's staring off at Daniel standing in the street, but then disappearing. We fade to black and cue the Buffy theme. Meow, 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 meow.
That was very delayed.
That was good.
I wanted to point out, I know this is gonna drive Leia nuts. This makes everybody, if the Tabby and Leah were here, they'd be rolling their eyes. But I think that Joss has picked people's names intentionally. Like, he does it to like kind of tell a subliminal message. The name Daniel, I think, is pretty intentional. The name means God is my judge, God is my arbiter. And so I think that fits really well with this theme of Angel kind of going on trial and being judged for his past mistakes. And so Daniel kind of being the representation, he's the first evil, right? And the first is essentially judging. And in the Bible, this idea of like sin, and Satan is known as the tormentor, the judger. He's the person that points and says, you're going to hell, you don't deserve redemption, all this up. And by the end of the episode, God himself, we think it's God or whoever, somebody sends a snowfall that basically says, no, you're not condemned, in the sense that the first evil is, pointing a finger at him. So I just find that very, very interesting and falling with the religious themes of Angel's redemption arc.
I'm so happy you're here to tell everybody that, because I didn't have that information, everybody.
She always comes through with extra facts.
She does. I love it.
I do.
We open up at school the next day, Buffy informing Willow and Xander of her run-in with Angel. Willow saying maybe she should tell Giles, but her letting them know that that's probably not in the books because of how he feels about Angel, twitchy and all.
It must be that whole Angel killed his girlfriend and tortured him thing. Hey, Giles is pretty petty when it comes to stuff like that.
Enough, okay.
Willow suggests maybe Angel just had the holiday blues because everybody gets them. Buffy noting she's trying to get over him by not being around him, but he just keeps showing up. Also noting she would just like a nice, quiet Christmas vacation, which will include chill time at the house with Joyce and an excess of gifts. I totally am vibing with her on that, because I want a lot of presents for Christmas all the time.
Me too.
It's the only part worth celebrating me these days, like getting together with people and getting that stuff.
That's
and
right.
then eating food and getting the fuck out of there.
That's right.
I had in capital letters, like, hopefully, because Willow's Jewish.
Not everybody worships Santa.
So she'll be doing the Hanukkah thing, commenting how she had plans with Oz, but apparently that's probably over now. Bringing it to Xander, who is going to be doing nothing but sleeping outside to avoid his family's drunken fights. And I say that because obviously Cordelia comes in the lounge and exposes his actual confidential information, or what he would want to remain confidential. Because he's like, yeah, I just like to look at the stars. And she's like calling him out. She basically adding like, Leia, coming up here to expose the truths.
Can I just say how nasty that is, though? Like, especially because it isn't just like oh, he's embarrassed by this, which he is, but it's like, this is obviously a deep personal wound for Xander. And I don't know.
Her delivery of it, though, isn't that bad.
I was going to say,
like,
I don't think she's
kind of
doing
nice,
it intentionally. But I think she just was not thinking about it. She just says it because, like, hey, I thought you said this. But it's still like another classic insensitive Cordelia moment where she's just literally not thinking about anybody else but herself.
Most of the time people never care because it's about Xander, but this time around, and I've always kind of thought it in the past, but obviously dissecting and thinking about the analysis on it, like, obviously Xander uses deflection as humor all the time. He has like deeper pains, and under his funny casual explanations, like, I just like the stars and blah blah blah, you know, obviously it can be deemed as kind of heartbreaking for him, because we've heard about his traumas at home from kind of Willow more in the first season, but we've heard like, or him talk about Uncle Rory, or his drunk such and such, his dad losing a job, or all these other things that we've kind of heard in like the teeniest little ways. Obviously he says it this way because he's trying to frame it so he doesn't feel that shame factor, you know, like even in front of his closest friends. That speaks volumes that he's trying to tell them what he likes to do. He's just sitting there with Willow and Buffy, and he's trying to say that, and obviously Cordelia came in the wrong moment. But I was like, all these hidden layers that we're used to seeing Xander like be loud and sarcastic and quippy in any other space, I was like, why can't we have more three-dimensional space created for him, like right here, where we could maybe play more into it, especially at this point in the show when we've had those subtle hints from Xander and his experience at home and how his upbringing is and what that entails. I honestly feel like the show downplayed a lot of his trauma in the moment like this. Maybe if we weren't underplayed, we would have more ability to sympathize with him and understand, like, maybe it's just his character and motivations that are driving the way he acts half the time in his decision making, you know? So I don't know, I sat with it for a little bit of time. I was like, this poor little dude, like, and then Cordelia comes in here ripping his ass. I'm like,
Cordelia's just like going off to Aspen, like, girl, he didn't have to catch a stray before you left, like, just go. But I agree. I feel like Xander's such a tough character because I feel like he's such an accurate depiction of like a boy of the time. But I feel like we do get so many hints throughout the show, and like even up to this point, I think this is probably the most overt like hint that we get about his home life. But it's almost like they just never want to like go there. And I totally agree with you that if they had dived into that a little bit more, Xander's less savory behavior would make more sense and would make people
a little
feel
bit in a way,
sympathy for him, because, you know, he's oftentimes the comedic relief and the person that just like antagonizes Buffy and like acts entitled and does these things, especially in the early seasons. But that's also just kind of speaks to like the excellence of this show, that they're able to kind of weave in these subtle hints of something. And I think it's nice that it's up to the audience to like, you can watch the show and like hate Xander, or you could watch the show and be like, okay, I'm gonna look at this through like a good faith lens, and I'm gonna try to like understand this character based off of these really subtle nuances that they're putting into the show. And that's why it's so good.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I wish we got more of that, but like we don't really. So, and we keep getting him in spurts, and we have moments, and we have stuff to come and stuff like that without spoiling anything. So that's why I wanted to bring it up now, so that way we can transition, and not everybody's just like, y'all hate Xander, y'all hate Xander. I could be like, well, I took time and gave him some space, so created space for Xander this episode, since, you know,
back to regular scheduled programming.
Anyways, as Leia was spoiling ahead of time for us, Cordelia will be in Aspen with actual snow, and apparently she's got to head that way, so she bails. Buffy commented on how she's reverted to her previous form. Willow saying that they have to cut her some slack because that's expected. Very, very true, honestly, at this moment. But like, of course she's going to say that she's always playing the guilt card, like, I need to be punished, I need to feel bad for what I've done type thing. But she's also the first one that's usually like, I need to get over this quick, and everyone else does too, so I don't have to sit in an uncomfortable space. That's for another tangent a different day. Also, Freddie, shut up. Time is changing here, so this cat is trying to like meow at me because the autofeeder's not going off.
Yeah, I was gonna say you need to go feed him.
No, it'll go off. Y'all will hear the little. Everybody knows that this podcast we hear the pebbles come out at 6:30 when we record movies. So in 15 more minutes or so, it will go off and the cat will be fed. Let's see, where was that? I was like trying to drag Willow under the bus. She also comments on how forgiveness is a big theme for her this year because of, and the walks up because it's Oz and he's like, I need to pull you aside. Cutting us over to a classroom as he talks to her about how he feels he misses her immensely and would be willing to make things work between them. And this makes Willow happy, and that makes us all happy because the two hug and officially get back together.
So cute.
Just to speak on it, obviously, like I really do like Oz getting me and Courtney some clarity because I'd forgotten about it and a little bit in the scene. I knew they got back together, but I wasn't thinking about it, obviously, because I'm kind of living in like fresh perspective eyes when we go through every episode. But me and Courtney got in a conversation about like, does he know about Xander? Like obviously Cordelia knows because she was in the room whenever Willow caught them kissing and like that whole thing got read out. Obviously Xander probably didn't go off this whole tangent and talk to her, but there had to be some kind of leeway room for Cordelia to know there was some sensitive territory there. And I don't know if Oz really did it, but obviously he clarifies in this episode that I know you and Xander have a past and I don't know if that'll ever actually go away, but then he actually is once again the most well-rounded male on this show, really, honestly, out of everybody.
Very emotionally intelligent.
Right there with Giles. And like he holds good boundaries. I was calling him Boundary King the other episode because he was telling Willow, like, look, you got your shit you're trying to get over. And like I told you I needed space, but you're not accepting that because you want to feel better. And that's not how this is working. So I love that, the whole Boundary King vibe. And this kind of like goes right back into that because he chooses to invite trust back in Willow because he does miss her. And I like just how he presents this, like, I don't know, it's one of the most mature conversations we've seen so far on this show and dealing with something so real life and mundane of just getting back together with a partner that whether it's been a betrayal, a simple harm, whatever, and this wasn't really simple, but you get what I mean. It could have been something so much more cranked down on the volume, like, or like intensity. This was the most intense most times it can get, but I think that this is like a really nice stable relationship for the show for us to like maybe get some positive stuff around moving forward just because of how this whole scene plays out.
Yeah.
Next, we see Buffy and Joyce Christmas tree shopping at a local tree lot, opting out the faux snow-covered ones. Joyce introduces the idea to Buffy that Faith should come spend Christmas Eve with them. Buffy a bit on the fence since they're still a bit strained.
Faith and I don't really hang out or talk or make eye contact lately.
Joyce coming in hot with the guilt trip and also a little bit of shade to question if Buffy really wants her alone in that dingy motel room for the holidays by herself. Buffy agrees she will ask and proposes Giles come do the same with them, but Joyce shuts that shit down real fucking quick. Like, so funny. Y'all, like, I hope Courtney really clocked that in the moment. She's like, no, I'm sure he's fine. He doesn't want to spend it with a bunch of girls. And obviously splits from Buffy immediately being hella avoidant to go find a tree herself. She's like, maybe we should cover more ground in this whole like 5-foot lot.
Best parts of this season is the fact that like they aren't addressing what happened between Joyce and Giles.
Yeah.
But there's obviously something happened and everyone's like it's just so
It's
awkward.
like the elephant in the room every
It's like
time.
a little like Easter egg and it's like us as the audience are like we're being baited each week and it just is so fun. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And like we never get anything of it because like at the end of the episode they just walked off from each other because they were just awkward. Like they were like almost shamed in the fact that they made out all episode and like were turning out and the things that they were doing when they were off on their own. Lo and behold, whatever it was, crazy times. But I love it the way that they put it in the context of this episode. And she like pops off. Obviously Buffy moves over to a patch of dead ass trees. The clerk moving over to be like, hey, I'll cut you a hella good deal on them if you want one. He's like, a bunch up and died on us. She obviously declines because who the fuck is taking home some tree that's going to catch fire once you put on lights?
Seriously.
Fucking tree. You ain't got to worry about Angel or Star on top. You put one light or Joyce in here with a rage and fire. I'm surprised if they had not took that tree home, the whole house burned down.
For
and then
real?
they're going to blame it on Buffy because you know she burns everything down. I'm just like, oh my God. Joyce does holler out, though, that she found the best tree evs. And then we flash somewhere in a cavern where we see cloaked figures around candles and an altar seeming to be conjuring something. Us getting a flash. I love the background. She's like the ghost. We get a flash of their eyes, which are not eyes. They are eyeless, but runes have been carved over where their eyes used to be. Basically, this is like the master's minions because he's like, I got something in your eye, and he's done poking all these motherfuckers.
Oh my God. They're so scary, honestly. Like
they're so spooky.
They
Like
spook me.
Buffy, I don't know. I would not have been able to bust one either in the bedroom whenever I was in my sex dream with Angel if I saw that motherfucker standing in the corners. I would be taken out the moment so quick. So quick.
It's like your sleep paralysis demon, but you're in the middle of like a really sexy dream and you're like, what the hell?
And you like are like,
That's like me after watching The Conjuring, the latest Conjuring. Like, y'all, I have not slept in like 2 weeks. Like, since this movie came out. I can't.
Oh shit! Damn, I need to watch it. I didn't like the last one, so I'm hoping this one will save the other
we need
ones
we need a redemption one.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously it's spooky, as we were just saying about this, and even more so for Angel when he wakes up alerted in bed, possibly having seen them in the dream. I don't know. I feel like this was they didn't set it up super well, but I guess he's dreaming the same thing, or like this whole sequence is what he's dreaming. Like, I never caught that as a kid until just now, but obviously he has that dream and awakens. Over at Faith's dingy motel, Buffy knocks and comes in, Faith wondering if she's there for scary monsters, but nope, she's there to extend an offer to join them for Christmas Eve. Faith clocking Joyce sent her immediately, and I love that because she's like, your mom sent you down, didn't she? And she's like, and I love this. I love that she takes the moment to like to make herself look good and not in a negative way, for her to be like, you know what, I actually want to rebond with you. So I'm going to say, no, it's not my mom's idea. I actually came here on my own accord. Like, and I think between the two of them, her clocking like, you ain't got no party to go to, and her being like, you did come over here on your, like, obviously your mom sparked the idea, but yes, Buffy wanted to follow through with it. And I think that's super important.
What I love so much about like the Slayers on this show, like, you know, Buffy is a certain way, and then we have Kendra in season 2 that's very like by the book and stuff, and then Faith comes in and she's like a wild card. But I love these moments between Buffy and Faith, or even like Buffy and Kendra, where you can see how much these girls or women or whatever want to connect with each other because they have this like kinship. Like they're the only two people in the world who are the same, and like you can tell Faith, you know, regardless of her hard exterior and her walls that go up, because obviously she's gone through a lot, but she truly wants to connect with Buffy, and Buffy wants to connect with her, because being a Slayer is so lonely. And I love that, you know, everybody's always talking about like shadow selves and shadow sides and all of that. And I just think the only ones that make sense to me in this show are the Slayers to each other. And I love that you can see them, like, you know, they have their walls up, but then around each other, like you can see kind of their inner like vulnerability, like trying to reach out. And I love that so much. And especially with Faith and Buffy, because, you know, they have great chemistry, and like that's all I'm gonna say.
Well, we don't get chemistry right now because Faith hella declines that she's got that big party that she's been invited to, and Buffy offers, well, if you change your mind, the offer still stands. Moving to leave, commenting on the like of Faith's Christmas lights hanging in the room as well. Faith retorting,
Yeah, well, tis the season, whatever that means.
love that comment. We cut over to Giles cooking dinner, hearing a knock at the door, a bit stunned to find it's Angel. Angel saying he's sorry to bother him, and Giles laughing at that statement. The play out of Anthony like doing this whole scene is also just, again, chef's kiss, amazing. Finding it obviously rather funny, but Angel needs his help, and Giles comments on this hilarity that's still ensuing. Angel agrees he has no right to ask for it, and I love this too because it shows the mindset. He's like, I already fucking understand, like, I should not be here, like, whatever, but he has no one else, and Giles agrees and leaves the room for a moment. Angel calling inside, I'm like, I have to be invited in. He's like, just thinking this motherfucker went back to cooking his chicken on the stove or whatever the fuck he was doing. Giles reappearing with a fucking crossbow, aiming it at Angel, telling him he's well aware, and then inviting him in. And this kind of lets like Angel know where he stands. Like, he's like, okay, I'm gonna let, and this says a lot for Giles. He lets him in and all this other stuff and lets him go off on his tangent. But like, it's kind of like between the two of them, they're both really like very clear in their communication, their body language, and all that stuff. So, but obviously, I'm pretty sure Angel did not expect this.
This scene is like, it's my favorite scene of the whole episode, which I know is so weird, but I just love the intensity that Tony Head plays this, and how this is one of the most interesting dynamics, because back in season 1, like when Angel met Giles, you could tell Giles was so fascinated by this vampire with a soul, and there was like an earnestness, and you could almost tell like the few clips that they were together that Giles and Angel kind of had like this uneasy partnership where Giles kind of almost like looked at him with fascination, but that's completely gone now. Like it's changed, and I love the difference in that. But something I noticed with this rewatch, so obviously this episode is a masterpiece on so many levels, but something I really noticed is the sounds and how they intentionally showcase the difference between Giles and Angel's situations. So while the camera's shooting over Giles's shoulder towards Angel, and he talks about how he has no right to ask for it, we have a lone dog barking in the distance, and then we also have the wind chimes. And these are things we often hear in media to like invoke a sense of isolation, loneliness, a feeling of coldness, or like an outsider that's, you know, outside of the warmth. And then in contrast, when the camera turns back onto Giles after Angel says there's no one else, we hear his dinner boiling, possibly boiling over, which is partially to give Giles an excuse to go back and get his crossbow. And that makes us think that's what he's doing. But what it also does is there's this warmth and this like homey feel of a home cooked meal boiling over, which is such a contrast to the solidarity of Angel not being able to come in. And it's really interesting because you would think that the Summers home would be the place that the writers would use for this feeling throughout the series. Yet I can think of at least 3 separate times where they intentionally do that with Giles's place. And without giving spoilers, there's going to be the episode next season where a character is on the outside of Giles's apartment, and you actually hear those wind chimes again, and they're intentionally trying to show this character on the outside. So they do this a lot, where they have Giles' home kind of being the hub in this place of where people are together and they're insiders versus anyone on the outside is not a part of that. So I just thought that was really interesting how they were doing that visually, but then also like auditory wise as well. So
his house is so nice, even the first evil wants to come visit.
Exactly. So you're okay, though. I want Giles to make me food. I'm sure it's great.
Or tea.
Well,
yeah, or tea.
Yes, tea.
Literally. I want to look at his
Don't
glove.
bring your own tea bag. It's an insult. Angel tells him of his dreams of the past, reliving them vividly and needing to know why he was brought back.
I've been seeing... I've had dreams lately about the past. It's like I'm living it again. It's so vivid. I need to know. I need to know why I'm here. Yeah?
Especially when he should be in a demon dimension, experiencing eternal torture. Giles backing that up. Angel confused at why he was freed, needing some peace of mind over it. Giles sets the crossbow down, but as he bends, we see Jenny Calendar standing behind him. Angel entranced by her fondling Giles without really touching him. Giles going on to make remarks, but picking up on Angel's demeanor and asking what is up. Angel calling out, "Don't you see her?" Him looking around, seeing nothing. Angel freaking out and running out of the home. This is probably the first part where he's like, okay, like... what? I guess, or whatever. He's like, I put the crossbow down. Like, what? Are you good, bro? Like, I don't know. But he also is starting to like get in his mindset that like something's bothering this man. So that's what helps, I think, in his decision making later for Buffy. You know what I mean? But honestly, like I was saying earlier, like the fact that the first knows how to play this game with Angel, and he like chooses while he's there specifically at Giles's home, he's gonna unveil, or they is gonna unveil this like whole guise of Jenny Calendar to be the person, because it just like it's the first step that we see, not that it's bothering him, that's saying like, nah, your normal connections are not going to be here for you, like I need to scare you right now so you get the fuck out of this house.
Well, and it's so
it was
cool
really crazy
because like the idea of like Angel's journey is one of addiction and guilt, and I love the imagery of Angel not being able to reach out for help and find connection. He's not, he says, I can't do this, he doesn't belong here. And he believes that. And the first is trying to hammer that home and trying to say your guilt essentially is keeping you from forming connections because you're not good enough. And I love that for this episode because it's just meaty.
Well, I think Angel feels like he has no right. And he says this repeatedly in the episode. Like he's like trying to reach out and trying to get help, but he feels like he has no right. And the first is playing on those insecurities and that guilt. And I think, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but like the first's motivations in this episode, I think can vary from like different interpretations. I have my own, like I said,
but it's all over the place too, though, so it's easy to do that. Yeah, exactly.
But I think that it has like very specific motivations in what it's trying to do, and it's banking on the fact that Angel does feel guilt, and he feels this sense of being unworthy to ask for help, and it plays on that, which is just diabolical as hell. You know, we've never seen a demon like this other than like Angelus or whatever, like who kind of like psychologically, like the first can't touch anything, but it's causing so much damage psychologically. And I think that's like
Mhm.
so much scarier than a demon that you can beat up and like kill.
That's the worst. It's like
Mhm.
being trapped with your own thoughts. That's what I was like calling
Mhm.
back. That's just the mental illness stuff.
Mhm.
Your voice sometimes is the worst one to hear, but it's also the
Mhm.
one that creates the most power, especially if it's stemmed off of others being support
Mhm.
around that and like enhancing those internal thoughts that you like tend to think whenever you're
Mhm.
having dark moments or something like as
Mhm.
vicious as he's done and cyclically like as it keeps happening. It's not something that's just like
Yeah.
he's got rid of.
Mhm.
And he's had to come back from this twice now. And on by last time come back from it while being in a hell dimension for 100 years or so,
Mhm.
like dealing with the immediate drawback. I know whenever we watched it together, Courtney got like really excited, like one for the whole crossbow scene and stuff like that. But like, what do you think about the first being a spirit, like obviously that can take the guise of different forms, and it choosing, seeing Jenny on the screen again? Because I don't know if you picked it up saying, I'm so mad at them because it says, Robia LaMorte as Jenny Calendar coming in on the intro
Yeah,
credits. Like,
I
and
know.
I'm like, for people that don't know that
Yeah.
she's going to be in the episode, it might take away from it, but I don't know if you were reading that. So
no,
like,
I
were
honestly
you
didn't
surprised?
even catch that. Yeah, and I was surprised, but it was obviously good for that reason. And I love any time that we get a glimpse of her just because I love her character so much. So I really like that. But I love the whole scene between Angel and Giles. It's one of my favorite scenes so far in this season. And I think it's the buildup and the intensity, and then just like having to kind of almost gather understanding of what's really going on and what's really getting presented, because it's a lot. And when you're used to having like the form of something, like you guys are saying, like typically it's something that can be slayed or staked or killed or something in the more tangible sense. So for it to be this more looming, very dooming just entity, I guess, in a way, is an interesting spin on things, because you just don't know how you're gonna get rid of it, and that is already such a problem that we deal with every episode, because there's always something new outside of this happening.
Which
It
works
just
so
like
well with Angel's fight for redemption. The fight is
Mhm.
ongoing. It's never over.
Never
You can't just kill
ends.
something and boom, it's done. Just like addiction, just like the feelings of shame that we feel on a day-to-day basis. Like I just find something really poetic about that.
Yeah.
Mhm. I like how this is really other than like a Shangel's reviews thing I'm going to read that I found in their discussion of this episode. I like how coming off of Revelations was when we got presented to Buffy through Giles that like I was tortured by Angel. I still have this like feeling over him, and then now technically this is the next episode because we didn't really get much with Giles in Lover's Walk. He was gone, and Angel wasn't really relevant in that. Well, no, well, he was, but Spike was more of the center focus of that. And then obviously we went into The Wish, which is a whole other episode in its own. It's an alternate reality episode. So we only really get to see it a few minutes. That was the one time they had a week with no monsters, essentially. You know what I mean? Them present day real time people, they didn't have any of that. So I like the callback of that immediately in this episode to express and have this scene. Changel's reviews, though, said, I love that Giles walked away to retrieve a crossbow before inviting Angel in. Suddenly the scene went from awkward to intense. It's easy to understand Giles' trepidation and hate towards Angel. Not only did Angel, technically Angelus, torture Giles when they last met, but Angelus killed Giles' girlfriend. Not only did Angelus kill Jenny, but he creatively posed her in Giles' bed and left a trail of romantic breadcrumbs through Giles' house, leading him up to the stairs to find her. If I was Giles, I'd have taken a shoot crossbow now, ask questions later approach. Giles is much more understanding and compassionate towards Angel than I was expecting. He is cold towards Angel, understandably, but I was expecting more cold. It's a testament to Giles' character that he still helped Angel even though he loathes him. That's what makes Giles awesome. He's a for the greater good kind of guy, which calls back to The Wish. I have to believe in a better world and like better energies in general. It's more important to him to discover why Angel is back. So he's putting Buffy's feelings in this episode before his own, because obviously that's what he does later on when he chooses to help her with Angel. And I thought that was broken down so well and said. So I was like, I'm going to put this in the episode as my like little something that I can put on an enhancement of that. But like so much, this scene is so layered. That's why I think it's one of the best in the whole episode to like get this callback and this like connection, the mirroring the parallels from other episodes. It's just magnificently done.
Yeah, that's one thing I love so much about Giles as a character. Like, he has his issues with Angel, like, rightfully so. And he puts that aside because he knows how important Angel is to Buffy. And I think that that's, like, it's such a testament to, like, Giles's growth. Because if you look at him from, like, the first season where he's just Watcher and he doesn't really get Buffy, He doesn't really understand her as a person, but then you see him slowly start to care for her. And at this point, he's kind of, like you said, he's a big picture kind of guy, and he doesn't like Angel. He probably wants him dead and would be happy if he died, but he knows that that would hurt Buffy, and he would never want that to happen. And I like that in this scene, Angel also has he has respect for Giles. He knows that he shouldn't be here, but he's like, this is my last resort. So there's just this really like it kind of makes me miss their season 1 relationship where they would do a little research together. Angel would bring him information and stuff. Like, I wish that we could have more of that. But at the same time,
it got spoiled. It's so interesting though, like with storytelling, how you get to like fix things. And I love even in relationships or friendship, those building blocks back to a stronger foundation. They always say if you can like really let the past be the past and like continue on the journey forward, you really do come back kind of stronger because you like showed that your friendship or like your partnerships, whatever, they stand the test of time that way because you can be mature or speak on things and deal with them. Like, I think that's another subliminal messaging that we get through the series to reflect on as humans, that to how to communicate the right way, how to deal with things, get a crossbow and shoot your enemies.
Very mature, very mindful, very demure.
Very demure.
There we go. Oh God.
Thank you, Leia.
Later that night, we see Angel dreaming once more about a servant woman. And I love all these scenes. We keep getting him in the bed half naked, like scrolling around the sheets. Like, oh my God, girl.
David Boreanaz has the best chest. I'm sorry, I just had to say. And his back.
Steph and Cara like forgetting about the fact that he had a tattoo. I think it was Cara in like their most previous episode. She was like, I didn't remember that Angel had a tattoo, and I had to like look it up and stuff. And Steph, of course, came in talking about, I knew that tattoo was there. I was the one that did it. Basically,
the rippling.
She's like, I've licked it a lot
because his back ripples.
It's sexy, I know, right?
So sexy.
Well, this time the guys that's presented to him is Margaret that he killed at a party, keeping her away in the shadows from her duties. Well, that's not the guys, but that's the dream, sorry. Telling her to keep quiet because obviously crying out and making a scene would be a problem and it would disrupt her boss's, whatever the party is that's going on here and make her unhappy. And I was like, damn, at the end of the day in these times, like that's so fucked up that she like chose to not be like, no, I'm going to get away from you. And she's like, oh, I have to be quiet because I could get in trouble. I could lose my job. And, I won't be making my 10 cents an hour or whatever the fuck I'm doing. And then I'd be out on the streets. And then regardless if this man's going to kill me and my son, then I'm going to be dead anyways. So I've got to keep my job, whatever. In the past, though, he morphs to vamp phase and she realizes what's about to happen, crying out about her son, who to Angelus would make it. That's the cat feeder.
It's time.
It's time. The cats are now chowing down. They will stop crying at me. But you know who's still crying? The lady about her son who wants to tell Angelus.
A+.
Great segue.
I said who? I know, right? I'm good about stuff like that usually. Except I messed up my statement, though. Either way. Angel comments on how he would make a fine dessert and starts to drink her. And obviously, once we see the body drop and she's fucking dead, he sees Buffy standing there in the room of the dream of his past, having watched this, him taken aback and Buffy alerted, Angel waking up in present day gasping with non-air, because, vampires don't breathe. We don't talk about this.
There's a lot of gasping Buffy, for not having air this episode.
I know, the whole series. We're going to call it out every time. Buffy also awakens, though, in her own bed, stunned because she was sucked into the same dream.
Crazy.
Absolutely crazy. Like, I still don't understand. Like, I don't know if it's her tie to Angel or what's causing this. It never really is fully clarified or elaborated upon.
Yeah.
But like the fact that she does obviously helps. Maybe it's because of the Slayer prophetic kind of stuff and it's dream work. And we know that's like obviously always something that happens with Buffy. She dreamed about Angel dying when Drusilla was going to kill him and all the other elements. So maybe this is also like, whatever the powers that be or the upper aboves, the Slayer vitality that courses through these bitches' veins, whatever makes them have these dreams, maybe that's what pulled her in, and that's what I have to chalk it up to, I guess.
So like my theory, and again, this is not confirmed because I don't think the episode does that, but my theory has to do with like the first's motivations. I think the first is trying to kill two birds with one stone. It's trying to get either Buffy to kill Angel or Angel to kill Buffy. And I think maybe it's making these dreams happen to make Buffy be like, okay, Angel's losing his mind. He's becoming a danger. So I have to like put him down now.
True.
And then trying to make Angel go crazy and be like, you have to kill Buffy or you have to turn her. I think what it's trying to do is like manipulate either her or him to like kill each other. But I think it like doesn't foresee the power of their connection and how like they encourage each other to move forward out of that. And I think that's where the first kind of like, that's where its downfall is. But that's kind of my theory. And I think that's why the dreams sort of happen. Like the first wants her to see it like viscerally, how unhinged Angel was and how he's kind of losing his mind because of these things, just like so that she sees him as a threat.
Well, obviously that makes sense because of the scene we get later, like with the bringer being in the room. And obviously the bringers are there making this mojo happen as well, too. So maybe they're also planting and, like you said, help setting up the foundation and the framework for all of this. But then obviously there's no control. They have to kind of surrender that what they put out in the universe has to play out the way it needs to. And then obviously it just does not play out in the first favor because of that connection. So that's worth pointing on. Yeah, for sure. Angel awakens, walking out to his foyer to find Jenny out there questioning if he had trouble sleeping. And I was like, I wrote my notes in capital letters, like, yeah, because you bitch, like, this is like what I love so much, because this would be me. Like, I'd be out here torturing somebody and I'd be waiting in the fucking living room and be like, oh, I'm sorry, you're having trouble sleeping, knowing it's my ass causing this. Like, I am the problem in the room. There's no elephant, it's me.
It's me.
It's me, Jenny. It's just so funny. And Robia does such a good job with her, like, last portrayal of this bitch too.
She's so menacing.
I think it's
it's
kind of funny. Both takes that we've gotten her previously are her like being guised by like someone else. Like obviously Drusilla was taking on the guise of her last time we saw her, so it was like a ghost version of her. And now this time again, she's like, "Can I come back as myself?" But it kind of is her, because the first carries all those memories and all the energy of that person. If they're dead, that's the whole thing about the first. If it's someone that has died, then they can take on the guise of them because they're a passed on one. That's kind of a spoiler, but more of a breadcrumb. That gives a little bit more backstory and connection to why the first evil can take the guise of someone. These are dead people, obviously, of Angel's past, and obviously Jenny plays into that very miraculously. So there we go. Angel tries to tell her to leave him alone. No, but she states that she can't because he won't let her. Him asking what she wants and her sarcasm.
I want to die in bed surrounded by fat grandchildren, but guess that's off the menu.
Damn, pulling from her stuff, but also making him feel like shit. He apologizes and says she made her peace with death, kneeling down to tell him he should be feeling sorry for himself. And he agrees that he is, for everything that he's done. He is sorry for it. Her then morphing into Daniel again, telling him he wants to show him who he is. Love the scene. I like the transition too. We get some different stuff, and I can't say anything past that point. But like the way the first morphs, like it's kind of like a wisp of fading smoke. Versus just like, you know, taking on the form and like morphing physically into another, like, you know what I mean? Like as a pan shot. I don't know how to explain that, but I like this version of the first, just saying, like having that whip of wisp, it kind of makes it that much more creepy, you know, versus it just like shifting like a shapeshifter would to take the guise of someone.
Well, and the whole idea of like, I just want to show you who you are in the guise of Daniel, like the accuser and stuff. That's something that I really enjoy about this iteration of the first, is that really hones in on this idea of the evil that's inside of all of us. Like this idea of like, we all have the capacity for it. And so there's a lot of shame there. And I like that they hammer home on that, because I think that's really compelling.
I really love the line that she says when it's like Jenny Calendar, where she says, "You won't let me," because I think there's like so much truth in that to who Angel is as a character. You're mired
in that shame.
Like he's the one that like truly, like we know that this is the first like trying to manipulate him, but there's so much truth to that. And that's what makes a really great villain in the Buffyverse, is like they take the truth and they twist it into like something perverse. But in terms of Angel as a character, he does hold all of those things. Like that's why it's able to affect him so much. Had it been maybe somebody else, maybe this wouldn't have been the tactic to get to them, because they wouldn't have been like, I don't carry these ghosts with me, but Angel like truly does, which is why this is working so well on him.
Yeah. Well, like I think I was about to say, I was saying something. Daniel, just like the whole thing you brought up to it, I think I'll have that for every rewatch going forward, like this whole symbolism with the name and stuff. And I can't wait to like act like I knew this information. Like whenever I watch it again with somebody for the first time, I'm like, did you know that such and such? So I'm gonna pull this whole thing. They'll be like, Brandon, I really didn't know you to know.
You're like, I'm just
of you as a person to have all this biblical knowledge. I'm like, well, you know,
I have friends.
I know. I was like, I learned from the best people. At school in Giles' office the next day, Buffy is telling Giles about how she's absolutely certain that this was Angel's dream since she couldn't have known about any of this shit, having got sucked into it somehow, saying something's up, and Giles informing that he knows because he has seen Angel and tells her what he wanted, aka info on why he is back, and that he's already been looking for the details of this possibility. Her saying that she will help too, because if she wants to get over him and put him behind her, she cannot be having guest spots in each other's dreams. Giles agreeing with her to help him. Xander calling out, entering the room to ask where do they start.
Most shocking Xander moment of the series right here.
That's what I'm saying. He comes in offering his sentiments and help.
Look, I'm aware I haven't been the mostest best friend to you when it comes to the whole Angel thing. And, I don't know, maybe I finally got the Hanukkah spirit.
I really like this. I know I said it a little bit earlier, like Revelations was obviously the catalyst for Xander dropping some of the Angel hate that we've been experiencing. And from here on out, it is less problematic in these areas on that front. But just him doing that, it fits so well in this episode for him to come in and like try to make amends with Buffy. And even though they're chill, she asked if we were cool at the end of that episode. And he's like, yeah, we're good. And explained a little bit more appropriately, like I was just kind of freaked out by seeing you with Angel again. Super fair, but why couldn't you have had that as a point of conversation versus all the lashing out from last time? So it seems like through this statement, this is a huge, like, you know, with Xander, it's gonna be 2 foot forward, 8 steps back all the time, but here's his footsteps forward. For now. Either way, this all starts with research, and they head out to the main floor with books to start. Buffy commenting, is he sure this is how he wants to spend his Xmas vacay? Him claiming, sure, who else would have this pathetic of a social life? Them bumping into Willow coming into the library to ask, what are we doing? I was like, I love this, right? The gang's all here, and of course, this is how they're spending their vacation, researching something crazy going on the Hellmouth. I said, but with pizza in my notes.
Yeah. Honestly, the library is my favorite Scooby, like, hangout space. I just love it. Like, you can just drop in. People are doing research. You bring some donuts.
It's because it's Giles' second up to his home. There's no wind chimes here, but
he's always bringing the good vibes.
Just the portal to hell is right here. Well, obviously, amongst this research, Willow and Buffy talk about how her and Oz are going to spend Christmas together. It's like their plans are back on. And also how her parents are out of town. I was like, okay, the first thing we'll do is invite a boy over, and we see what she tries to do. So we can talk about that a little bit. Buffy does talk about how she's glad they're back together, and Willow saying that it's uncomfortable at the moment due to her needing to restore the faith and trust to the relationship. Buffy commenting Xander has a piece of her that Oz can't touch, and now she has to show Oz who comes first. Very important. I love Buffy's words here, right? Absolutely. She's letting her know that, like, you'll get through this, just like she was walking with her at the end of Lover's Walk and being like, you know, it'll just take time type thing. Willow thanking her, and Buffy, annoyed their research isn't getting any closer.
There was a little bit that was cut out of the script that Buffy says, well, he does have a point. Xander was your first love. And then it says, thinking of herself, that's hard to let go of. And then it goes into Xander has a piece of you that Oz can't touch. Obviously thinking about Angel.
Yeah. Oh, okay, true. Yeah, I forgot that you said that it came from Buffy. I was like, wait a minute.
You're like, wait, hang on.
Of course, naturally. Yeah, no, it makes sense. At Angel's, he's deep into getting annoyed by the first. He's getting so frustrated. This poor motherfucker. This time by a man he killed more in modern times based on his suit, which I'm super confused about because Angelus ran amok up before this like type of attire was in style.
It probably would have been during season 2
and becoming part 2.
Oh, maybe that's okay. Well, I did not think about that at all because obviously I'm thinking like everybody else is basically from the past, but Jenny's from season 2, so maybe this is something off screen we didn't see. Y'all have cracked the code. Oh my god, I love it. Now I'm gonna just accept this as canon. That makes sense. So yeah, and like the stuff he talks about too about him arranging them damn kids up in the bed like look like they were sleeping and shit, and like
a dramatic bitch.
But I mean, he even comments on that. He's like, you took this artistic approach, and obviously once he morphs, I think, into Margaret, they're talking more about like you took more pleasure in murder than any other demonic entity, you know? And then Angel starts to freak out, and she uses his line from earlier against him, and I love that. She's like,
yeah, cry out, make a scene.
Because he's basically doing that in his home. And I'm like, he ain't making a scene to nobody but himself and you. But, you know, still, it's so dramatized. He then sees Daniel again commenting on how he was supposed to marry that week, but he believes that Angelus knew that. Also really fucked up. Like the target, the strategy that he has whenever he makes his kills and the timing and planning. It's this beautiful like thing to him to create this whole horror story for these people. Like, He needs to be a writer himself. I don't know why Spike was the one that was writing shit down. Spoiler alert.
Well, Spike was
Sort
a
of.
bad poet, so
We know it. Angel stating, though, that wasn't him, that the demon isn't a man, as the first reappears as Jenny, us seeing they are all just there consistently back-to-back torturing him and driving him a bit mad. Also commenting on how he was a drunken mortal man and disappointment to his parents. That little flashback scene is so funny. Like, Courtney started laughing. They don't see the difference in either of his existences, though. Jenny ushers him to lay on the table because this is the best place to rest, telling him cruelty is the only thing that he had a talent for, and he needs to understand.
That's not true.
It's not true.
Leave Brittany alone.
No, what's the other thing you used to say on y'all's podcast? You need to leave or whatever.
Leave
no,
him
nothing you need to listen. No,
Leave
what's
it.
the little awkward?
Scram. Leave her alone. Scram.
Jenny telling him he mistakes it for a curse, but this is his destiny, and how they will show him
That's
falling
not true.
asleep.
That's not true. Stop lying to this man. You're more than this, Angel.
The first evil being non-corporeal, and like Jenny just is like touching Angel all over. It's like Robia LaMorte being like, "Oh, I can't stop touching David Boreanaz."
So I don't remember who talked about it in any of their coverage because it's a blur now at this point, but someone's spoken on this and said that this is like what Angel's thinking he's seeing is like the touch and sensations and things like that. Obviously, she's not touching. It's more for us as character, but it is a continuity error that this bitch is non-corporeal and cannot touch anything.
I like that, though. I like that. I like that, like, this is us seeing it from Angel's perspective. Like, he is physically feeling the ramifications of his past. By Jenny touching him.
But it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah,
but you notice, though, in contrast, that bitch was barely, and I loved that so much more. I'm going to hold my bottle up for you guys, but like she's like touching Giles like this.
Yeah.
Like, you're right there, but I can't touch you. But yet she's like this with Angel, like at the fucking fireplace.
Like I said,
no.
Morte saw her opportunity and took it.
Yeah,
to touch
literally.
He said, well, he cracked my neck. I'm about to crack something.
His hair is looking
my
good
gosh.
this episode too. She was all like,
Yeah, his hair is all like ruffled and shit. Like he just.
He has good hair. He has such good hair. No, you're not
hair.
nowadays. Probably going
So
balding, but
soft.
who knows?
No, he's actually he has a full head of hair, surprisingly, for somebody in Hollywood.
I know. I'm just making a joke.
He has. One time, David Boreanaz said he has the best hairline in Hollywood, and I'm like, oh my god, why are you saying?
We can't see the back of it though, and that's why he's always got the hats on his Instagram posts nowadays.
That's
Go
true.
Eagles.
Good point.
or it's a
Go
hair
Birds.
piece, and he only puts it on for formal events.
He stole all the wigs from Angelus, and he just keeps cutting them into different styles.
Oh my god, this is really shattering the image of him I have in my head, and I don't
And
like it.
you had
The time has come.
great image of him in your head. This is what it was that like shattered it after everything
Him with a
else.
great hairline and those Gucci shoes is how I see him in my head. Those ugly ass Gucci shoes.
What the fuck? Don't talk about him that way.
And the beads.
Leave him alone.
Leave him alone.
Leave David alone. It's called
Scram.
lies, everybody. Okay, so obviously we go back over to the library and we see the gang is still researching Giles and Xander anyway because Willow's asleep, all crunk up. Her neck is we're gonna have to me and Courtney got to give her a forehand massage after she wakes up out of this chair, like 100%. And Buffy's up in the stacks, passed out on the floor again for the second time this season because she was up in here with the books, like blaming it on Faith 2 episodes ago or 3 episodes ago, 4 episodes ago, however many it was. Shit trips me out because I'm like, I'm gonna have to massage this bitch's neck too. Like, can't y'all just go home and go to sleep in your own bed? Entering us though into another dream sequence where we can actually see Buffy in her bed between Buffy and Angel, this time in her bedroom, him coming in and undressing her as they kiss passionately, getting the return of the score we heard from them making love in innocence with a subtle Christmas enchantment tonally. This one also, you like how I do this, like everybody can see us. I'm doing this for y'all.
This
one also,
so you guys know.
Courtney actually commented on this. This is a lot more raunchy than the tasteful scene that we got last time. We were reflecting on it afterwards. She was like, damn, she was like up on it grinding and shit like that in the bed. And like,
They took it the extra mile.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I think this is one of the most like sensual, like intimate scenes in the show, honestly. That's what I think. It's beautifully
it's better. Well, I'll make a comment in another episode about attempted sensuality and
Oh,
lovemaking
God.
scene a couple of times.
Oh, gosh.
I'm bringing your sister on for that one.
I can't
Oh,
wait.
no.
I can't wait
no.
to hear.
Leah by
Leah.
herself.
Is it
I got
Leah or
Leah in
is
front
it
of me.
Tabby?
It's Leah.
Leah?
Which fun fact, we got Tabby coming up on a random episode by herself this season.
That's
So
gonna
that'll
be
be interesting to
exciting.
bring
That's
her
gonna be
back. I know.
fun. Splitting us up.
Okay, where was that in my notes? Let's see. Y'all split yourselves up. Y'all are going Destiny's Child now. No, I'm just kidding.
She's bouncing on it. You were at the part where she's
Buffy,
bouncing on
yes,
it.
Buffy's got. I thought you were talking about Tabby. I was like, what is Tabby doing? So
Over
Buffy,
my dead body.
Buffy's bouncing on it. Courtney actually likes it, even though this is not for her, normal perspective of reality of seeing a man and a woman do this together. One of those eyeless doodads.
Can you spell it
from
out
the-
more, Brandon?
I'm
No.
gay.
She's a lesbian. Well, we've been talking.
You're, like,
we've been coming off of
dancing
episodes talking
around.
about Faith and her.
Okay, also side note, I have a kid, so I've definitely been a part of heterosexual
Oh,
intercourse.
yeah, true. We all try to forget about it. Well, this must have hit the one little cord that she's still got on the inside that is
The
into
one little
this.
cord. Snip the last
She was
one.
like looking at it, and she was like talking about it. She brought this up herself after we were done watching the
did.
episode. I was like,
Sexuality is
I was
a
like, okay,
spectrum.
girl.
But it
Sexuality is a
was
spectrum.
more
We're
so
not
because
blind.
I try to view this from the viewpoint of watching it in the late 90s, and I'm like, damn, they really pushed the envelope with this episode. Last time
Yeah.
this was showcased, it was very PG, not even 13. It was just straight PG.
No, now
If
we
you're
got
10 years old,
softcore.
you're good. You're fine. You can watch that.
Mhm.
But now, if you're 16, you cannot watch this episode.
Well,
And
my
then-
Yeah.
kids,
At all.
my kids kept
At
coming
all.
into the room that I was watching this because they wanted to show me all the stuff they were finding at the bottom of the couch, like dirty socks and stuff. They're like, "Mom," and I was having to be really strategic in where I was posting it, and I was like, "Geez, guys."
standing in
She's
front of the
watching
screen.
porn.
Literally.
Well, this is like watching softcore. So either way, in this montage, except it's a dream, one of those eyeless doodads from the caves in the cloak appears in their room. Angel grabbing Buffy's arms, pinning her to the bed, vamping out and biting into her
Rawr.
neck to drain her. I know, right?
Mhm.
This is with a symbolism for Gur arc.
This is peak vampire fiction, though. This is
isn't even
this is
symbolism
what we're here
anymore.
for.
This
Anne
This is
Rice
what I
could
paid
never.
for. This is what
Actually-
this is me getting my money's worth. Okay.
I believe it. She was sipping her matcha while she was watching this the other day to cover the episode. She's like, I'm so
That's
happy I'm
right.
watching this episode again. She rewinded the scene 4 times.
She's like, I don't need to
I
watch
had
this
to listen.
episode. I've seen it so many
I
times. I was
did.
like, yeah, but you're gonna watch that one part, aren't you?
The two both awake in real time. Jenny there with Angel to tell him he wants her and he should take her. Pour all of his frustration and guilt into her. And I was like, you mean his jizz?
Oh
she's just,
my
so
God.
weird. She's pour it into her. The first is
Yeah.
nasty in this episode. Pour
The verbiage
the stuff
was
that she's
weird.
saying
The
later.
verbiage
It's weird verbiage. What's happening? Either way, but it's trying to guilt. Or no, that's what no. Okay, hold on. I'm getting flustered and hot. Saying that he can be free and this is what he is and why they brought him back, whispering to him again to take her so he will be ready to kill her. Angel looking torn and upset, but also kind of he's into it because he's like, I was in that dream and I was real close, and then I could have been it almost makes you wonder if in a dream sequence could he experience a happiness moment, whether it's not in real time, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So why didn't you just let the dream play out without all the biting?
Angel's like,
Yeah.
hey,
Could've got what you
hang
wanted.
on. Can we continue this shame session? It's I need to go take a cold shower. I'll come back.
Yeah, for real.
He's in the shower and she's still talking to him, and he's like, okay.
Oh my god.
He's walking off and Leia's coming up running on the screen to after him. and Steph's behind her. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see. Buffy comes down from the stacks, Giles telling her of info that he's found on an ancient power known as the First, absolute evil, older than man and demons, that they could have had the power to bring Angel back. Buffy looking at the pictures to say that she's seen these no-ad men before, the ones on the pages, in her dream that she just had. And then I love how he's like, oh, what happened in your dream? And she's like, let's not get sidetracked. She's like, I can't tell my dear old dad about what's going on in my sex dream, because obviously basically Sarah just said you got to deter children away from this type of shit, and parents sometimes, because this is just not a conversation you need to be having. Her wondering who they are, him informing that they are the bringers, harbingers of death, and agents to the First, using conjuring and spirit manifestations of people to set set them on others to haunt them. Everyone understanding they are the guys working the mojo on Angel. Dots connected, because we know we love dots connected on this show. We always play Buffy's favorite game, connect the dots. Xander noting they got to stop it, and Giles agreeing that she can't fight the first because it's not a physical being except when it touches Angel. Her retorting that she can fight these bringers if they can find them. Cutting us then over to Willie's bar, which this was such a surprise to see Willie again. Like, we haven't seen him since friggin' Kendra was here the very first time around in What's My Line. I'm like, what the fuck, where he been at? But obviously he's thriving. He's like, it's Christmas season. I also love whenever he walks in, he's like, it's the Slayer, you guys. And the vampires get up and walk out the back of the bar. Like, they're like, oh, fuck. And like, obviously she wasn't there to fuck with him, but it also kind of like opens us up to a future perspective we kind of get from Buffy on, like, she's not there to slay necessarily. She's like, I know y'all are bad, and she should technically actually, while she's in there, do her duty and kill all these motherfuckers. But she's like, whatever it is. But also they got up and left, so she didn't have time to do any of that. But she gives him some of the info on the bringers, and Willie tells her what he does know about them, you know, in between Xander trying to tactically threaten him, and it's not working, truly, even though he lies later. And he says that there has been underground talk about evil beings fleeing from something being down there, something that intimidates them, and to maybe start there. He wishes Buffy a Merry Christmas, and they exit outside where Buffy is frustrated, but Xander assures that they will catch the bad guys sooner or later, and for right now, all they can do is deck the halls with boughs of holly. Forgot to tell everybody Merry Christmas when we first opened the episode. Happy Hanukkah, Shalom, all the things.
When is this airing? Is it airing near Christmas?
No.
I don't know.
This airs like on Halloween or some shit.
Oh my god, Halloween, guys.
I don't know, probably somewhere around there. Honestly, I mean, we're kind of 3 weeks ahead, so like 3 weeks from now, this should be airing.
Yeah,
so it'll be like late September or early October. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I haven't looked at the date. I'll text you and let you guys know. I know y'all be looking really anticipated, when
so
it's We go over to Willow's home that evening where Oz comes in with his Blockbuster video rentals. It wasn't Blockbuster, but I'm gonna say it's Blockbuster because, iconic. I was like, the 90 vibes 100%. I was like, also this is totally giving Netflix and chill vibes, but more refined because it's like the 90s version of Netflix and chill. We see Willow is all dressed up with candles lit everywhere, and Sexy Barry White comes on and starts to play as soon as he takes a seat, which is super funny. Willow has the idea that since they're alone and it's a special time, maybe they could, do that thing. And like Willow, the delivery of her fucking ass, like always being so awkward when she says stuff, is so perfect. And I love it. She's like,
also Barry Manilow being played right now too does not help either. It's like become such a meme in and of itself now. Like it's impossible. I would imagine it'd be impossible to have sexy time with Barry Manilow playing. You know what I mean? Like I would just be like, this is too ridiculous.
She pulled out all the stops.
Although her dress is very like, I'm going to church. It's not.
It is very like Sunday school.
Yeah.
She does have a little bit of cleavage exposed. I will say, not actual cleavage, because Allison Hannigan, unfortunately, her acting's great in this scene, but her, she's not her actual body itself, like she couldn't do anything with some stuff because she's not so well busty.
But I like it because
body shame her or hate her.
Willow is like,
she's just such a frail little small person.
Yeah, like I would describe Allison Hannigan as like she's beautiful, but I think she gives more of like a cute vibe. We were actually having this conversation on our Discord the other day where we were saying that like certain cast members, certain characters just have this like sex appeal to them. And then certain other characters, they don't, but like Willow always comes off as cute. She never comes off as like sexy.
Which is also helping the enhancement of her delivery of these types of lines and stuff too. She's just labeled as cute. Yeah.
It's really funny because there's a line that was cut out at the very end of this episode where like Oz says, I know, I get the message. He kisses her and then like it moves on. But the script says, Willow goes, then can I change out of this outfit? And Oz goes, not just yet. Which is so cute. So cute.
Sarah just burned one of my fun facts, which is totally okay. Relevant to this. No, it's okay. I say all my fun facts mostly at the end of the episode, but it's okay. We'll just burn it now, so it's fine. It takes place right now, so it makes the most sense. But yeah, that was the only like script shit that I looked at. But obviously he declines like awkwardly a little bit. She starts to clarify that she's ready and wants him to be her first, and Oz, within turning her down, says that he's not ready and he appreciates the sentiment, but he wants it to happen when they are both in the best space for it to happen, which is, you know, really stand up. But also this is the second time he's turned her down when it comes to like an activity that involves them touching each other in the series. And then also he understands already that she wants to do it to prove something to him.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just, it would be special, and it's Christmas time. All the vibes are flowing. Like, Joyce would be a hella approving of this. But at the same time, he's trying to say, like, I know you're trying to, like, give me something of yours to let me know, like, hey, this Xander doesn't have this. You know, like, he didn't get that far with me and never did. And I want you to be my first, so that way you have this special thing of me, just like Xander has this other special side of me. So I don't know, just like I said, it's a healthy energy that we get from these two people. They're the healthiest couple on the show that we've seen in the series.
I feel bad for Willow because she's probably turned on even more now. She's probably like, dang it, like, come on, man. Yeah. Now I'm ready.
Yeah, she's probably like really banking on that.
Yeah.
Well,
You know?
if she hadn't have been like, we could do that thing, if she could have been like, can you come here and pound this hole, he would have been like, okay, you know.
Let me go put on my silky nightgown, my silky two-piece.
Why didn't they just dress her like they did in the Halloween episode where she like came out of her ghost?
Oh my god, yeah.
Because I'm like, if you sat down on the couch like that, Oz would have not just received the message, but you also wouldn't have had to have said much. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the episode that he first saw her anyways and was like, who is that girl?
Yeah,
So he would have been like, I know that girl.
I know what you look like under all of
Yeah.
that. Like,
Yeah.
He likes
I'm surprised
Willow.
he himself wasn't like, now we both know you can do better than whatever this
Yeah, he's
is.
like, go change.
Like, wear that Halloween outfit at.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, oh, the ghost one? He's like, no.
I know she comes down with her sheet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say anything. I'm gonna actually leave that right there. So I like ghosts. We'll leave that there. What was I about to say? The only other thing I want to say before like we move on is that for the scene, I like, even though it's a cute, like I labeled Willow for fashion moment and fashion watch, that I really liked her outfit. I thought she looked pretty in it, even though it's not like, I don't know, it's whatever. But I like mostly because it's like a felt suede textured material, very 90s. So and 90s. Also it's like a red color. It's kind of a lighter red, but it contrasts really well with Oz's green suede, like kind of felt looking jacket that he has on. I was like, they're trying to correlate the Christmas colors in here. And they're the only two people that we see wearing like red and green this episode. So I thought it was interesting watching this time around that I saw that before the scene clipped out. And I was like, they just look so awkward. I want to know what movies Oz brought over as well to watch with her. Like, the Elf wasn't a thing, so we weren't watching that. Did he have like National Lampoons and like, like what would Oz deem if she sent him to the store to get the videos? What would Oz have chosen to bring over there? Because it's not one. You think so? What wasn't he in that?
Yeah, like right. I don't know.
It was like that little kid with glasses.
That was like in the 80s. So yeah, I could totally. It would be some 80s Christmas movie.
Krampus.
Hereditary. No, for real. I watched Krampus at Christmas time. I fucking love that movie. I usually watch that and Black Christmas every Christmas time for my horror movie. Like,
I could see
Oz being into like a Christmas horror,
or I could see him also getting like It's a Wonderful Life or something classic too. Like Oz would 100% be like nostalgic like that.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Well, over at the Summers house, Joyce is laying more logs onto an already raging fireplace. Buffy's sarcasming.
Nothing like a roaring fire to keep away the blistering heat.
Oh, come on. It's lovely.
I'm not going to lie. I've done that. If you guys are in the South, have you ever turned on the air conditioning just to have a fire for Christmas?
Listen. The lady who owns the house that I live in, she gets so mad at me. I don't do it when it's in the dead heat of summer because obviously we have like 107 degree days here and humidity on top of that, so it's like 112 degrees or not more. And I'll be opening up my window to like blow smoke if I smoke weed or something up in my room, or sometimes just like let incense smoke get out to like cleanse energy, let it be freed so it's not just stagnating in my room. And in those earlier months when it's just like kind of warm, I'll leave the AC running on like 65 so that way I can have the window open and have like that compromise. But she's always like to holler and like, shut your window, you're fucking up the damn bill. So she had to go get I low-key think it's my fault, but not really. She got a good deal, but she got an insurance plan to get the solar panels put on the top of the house. So now she has a cheaper bill instead of how I was running up the bill. You know, your parents are always like, close that door, don't run in and out, blah blah blah. I feel like she just got her worst nightmare of a roommate when it comes to jacking the electric bill up. Like, she's that dad that won't let you touch
every time she pulls up in the driveway and sees your little window cracked open, she probably like rolls her eyes. damn it.
Well, nowadays I shut it so she doesn't offer me a little beer shot.
Oh,
So I was like,
man.
"You want to come down for a drink?" And I'm like, "No, I can't right now. I'm recording." She's
Literally
like, "Fuck
every
'em."
time I go to Brandon's house, she's always like in the garage, and I have to walk through the garage to get into his house. And every time, like the last 4 times I've arrived, as soon as she sees me, she's like, "Courtney, you want to do a little beer shot?" And I think the last time she did it, because I always reject her, and the last time that she did it, I came into Brandon's room and I was like, "Brandon, what the fuck is a goddamn beer shot?"
It's a shot of beer and a shot
Yeah,
glass.
what is it? Is it literally
It's
just a
so
shot
good.
of beer?
It is good.
Absolutely. If you like to drink, and then like I'm not saying if you like to drink like every day or on the weekly basis, like, but if you like a nice little like quick shot that you can take, it's one of the best ones. It's Liquor 43, which is a vanilla and blended infused like, I don't know if it's a whiskey or like some kind of like deep liqueur, but it's a liqueur in general in itself, and you pour it into a shot glass about like halfway up, and then you take whipping cream and just out the container and slowly pour it on the top, and it creates a little foamed layer at the top, so it looks like a little beer.
It looks like a little beer.
You know, you
That's
fill
so
it with the
cute.
froth on the top of it,
Yeah.
and then you take the shot, and between the kind of sweet notes that you get from the whipping cream and then the vanilla based liqueur, it kind of tastes like you shook a shot of vanilla ice cream. Like straight up, there's no afterburn. It kind of has a little bit of that warming like Fireball does, but not as intense, just because of the liquor. Like 100% try it next holiday season. You can do it on Christmas time. You can invite Oz and Willow over to watch movies.
There you go. There's Brandon with his segues again.
Little beer shot.
I think I mentioned it maybe later. Oh no, I did hear too. I guess the only other thing I did have to like say about Willow and Oz really quick was that how she had the soda bottles in the fucking ice bucket sitting there on the counter for the like.
That was the network being like, "Hey, we don't want to encourage drinking, so make sure it's
Exactly.
soda."
When they want people to look bad, they hand them a cigarette.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, either way, commenting on the heat, Joyce comments on how she wants to promote the Christmas spirit and positive vibes to flow for the house, but also maybe she should go turn on the AC. Taking a cue from me and also pissing people off like Anna. Asking Buffy as she decorates the tree, Angel on top again? And Buffy's like, wait. Buffy's like, wait, what? Because that's a firm yes in her mind and Leia's. But also she misunderstood. Joyce clarifying, holding the angel topper and the star topper, giving Buffy the option of choice. Buffy going with star for sure. I agree with her. I always choose the star because I'm a pentacle loving kind of person, witchy and all
I like
the things.
The star too.
But it's like standard. So I was curious, like, would you guys choose like growing up? Like sometimes I like the angel because they had like lights in their hands, and I love like intricate lighting and 3-dimensional space created by light. So sometimes I liked it on the tree, but nowadays I would never choose it. I'd always go for the stars. But what would you guys choose for it?
The star, 100%.
Star. The little
The angel always ends
kind
up being like,
out.
it kind of like also like tilts the stars easier to get
heavy.
straight up,
Yeah, and it's weird. They had to make them really, really airy, and some people had some interest. I remember I had one like I used to help Mr. Ron that owned a cut above Courtney help go decorate. He had like 5 clients that he would go decorate their home for Christmas and use all their stuff. We'd spend like 7 hours there, and I'd go every Sunday with him.
So
and he'd pay me like $400 because they'd pay him like $1,000 to like sit there and decorate their house for 6 hours.
Wait, there's a market for this?
Yes, absolutely.
Especially
if you're like an interior
people
designer
that
or something
don't
like
want
that.
to do anything.
Yes, and they have money to not do anything.
I love decorating for Christmas. I would
clearly none of us are just people.
I feel like I would do it for Halloween, but not Christmas. I'm like, y'all want me to deck your house out for Halloween? You're like, what a random offer.
Have like 25-story walls and need someone to put up like this really big wreath.
I know, you walk in and it's like a castle with vaulted ceilings, and they're like, so I want you to string lights from the chandelier.
I'll do it.
I want them to, and you're like, okay, never
That's
mind.
what they would
So
do. They would kind of tell us a little bit.
Yeah, I believe it.
It was nice for me because I made a lot of money and stuff like that. But I almost forgot to complete the story. But this one lady had an angel topper, and it was like the larger one that I've seen. Her tree was already like a 12-foot tall tree, and it's a fake tree that we had to assemble, so it's not a real tree or anything. But I remember putting it on there and her going, like hanging up, and Ron came over there and he like strapped something, did something, and her ass went like yoinked up, and then she was just stiff right there. He's like, I forgot I have to do this every year, and I was like, well, thank God, because I almost broke her fucking $4,000 angel that you've done. She had all that immaculate 90s like hardcore like ornaments that are in packages. I can't remember what they're called. It's a certain style that has all the intricate painting and like stuff on it. Like never have I ever, but that shit, oh my God, wow. Either way, we hear the doorbell and they move to answer it, and like they start to walk off together, but Buffy just really completes the journey, as I noticed this time watching around. Confused though, because they're not expecting company, and Buffy finds Faith at the door. Having realized that whole party was going to be a drag, decided to come over since she didn't have anything else to do. Okay, girl, we side-eyeing you, but also I love it. I love the way this plays out with like the music and Faith's energy. It like brings me to a space emotionally when I see this scene. Like it's heartwarming in a way, and it's so stupid. But I mean, when you know the broader spectrum of the whole journey of like Faith, or just like Buffy and her and stuff in general, like where they've been coming off of, it's nice to see this. Buffy's obviously glad that she came and invites her in from the entire lack of cold. Faith handing her a couple of crappy, badly wrapped gifts for her and Joyce. They talk about the cold and the heat and all this stuff, but they all steady wearing jackets. Like Buffy back to her this fucking tea coat. Faith come over with this damn fucking leather, like cream colored jacket on. I'm like, is it really that hot in Sunnydale? It is for the vibes. It's for the aesthetic of the show.
Yes.
Buffy hands them over to Joyce, who comes in, and she's like, I love how like her presence, like she's always like batting and like, who else? She's like when she saw Pat like coming down the stairs, she's like, oh Pat, like that's how she kind of treats Faith here. But she's so excited. She's like, oh Faith, you made it. Like, so I don't know. She's like, welcome to my home. It's not like Giles' home because this is better. But
it's because Joyce is she's a little host, a little homemaker. She's just
really
trying to. She's just trying to be a little Martha Stewart, welcoming guests into her home. Exactly. Hospitality.
Did you know Martha Stewart slays vampires?
I believe it. That woman does everything. Her and Snoop Dogg. I believe it. These are part of her Scooby gang.
I also heard she's a witch and also something else.
Yeah. Courtney liked this too, but I really like that Faith like elaborates twice on the fact that like they're crappy gifts, and then like because she hands it and Joyce is like, oh that's so sweet or thoughtful or whatever she says, and Faith's again like they're crappy.
They're crappy.
I think Courtney one of them looks like it's a steak. Buffy's present looks like it's just a steak wrapped up.
Would have been at least appropriate.
That is in my next part of my notes. Like after I because we spoke on it a little bit. Obviously, I like that she drops her tough girl act and like shows a little bit more vulnerability here whenever she accepts the invite to come to Buffy's. Sidestepping past that, though, I wrote my notes. This wrapped gift for Buffy is clearly a steak. Either that or it's another long, sick, like cylinder-looking item that we could not like.
She whittled it herself.
But you could tell that she like put care to probably go get a steak out the woods and like make this for Buffy.
Or
break the chair.
2.0.
Aww.
Kendra gave her a steak too.
It's Mrs. Pointy.
The Mr. Pointy that she's going to give Faith or Faith is going to give Buffy is a lot different than the last one we've had. But like, what do y'all think she got? What do y'all think she got Joyce? Because obviously, like between Prophecy Girls and us over here, I'm going to assume that it's a box of pre-rolls or edibles.
I was
going to say like
definitely weed.
Like, probably some weed.
What did she get Joyce?
I also pondered maybe it was like another self-help parenting book, because I was like, she's gonna need it for next episode with the wonders and mood going on.
You didn't invite me to come live in your house. Here's a book on how to be a responsible adult.
Fucking etiquette.
A parenting
oh my
book.
god!
I don't know. What would she have given other than like a pre-roll or whatever?
Candle. She went and got a candle and she wrapped it up and gave it to Joyce.
I forget
in a box.
Yeah.
What is it? Tea light?
Yeah. Have you ever seen like that?
What do you mean? It's probably like the Bible from the motel room or something.
Yeah.
She's like, here for your next book club.
She's like, oh wait, hold on. That one was supposed to be for Angel. That's Angel's. I don't fucking know. I was just curious. I was like, what did they put in here? Like, what would technically Faith have gotten her? But I guess we'll never really know. Yeah. But here's our pondering of the perception of that.
It's a whole box of like stuff for Joyce to be able to, like weapons for her to help take care of herself. So like a little bit of holy water, maybe a little cross. Because she's not practical. Yeah, exactly.
Well, you never know when she'll need it. Maybe she'll want to go out and watch Buffy slay sometime.
Yeah, who knows?
Either way, Buffy heads upstairs to grab Faith's gifts, which I was like so cute. She says gifts too. She got that bitch gifts because Joyce had that paycheck coming through. She got that gallery, what do they call
money.
it? The bonus that you get at Christmas time from most jobs. I don't know what that Sunnydale bonus looks like, but in her room though, when she makes it up there, Angel closes the door, having been hiding behind it, surprising all of us. We're like, oh my gosh, here it is.
He's in there smelling her clothes.
She wonders why he's there. Him flustered as fuck, saying he needed to see her, and also her bed that he keeps like glancing over at. It's like being super fucking weird. Like he's so like
Okay, he
I
just
hate
had
that.
a sex dream about her. I'd be thinking
I
about
mean,
it
I guess
too.
and he's
He's
very
losing his
confused.
mind. Yeah.
He's the acting though, awesome, on par, David. Claps to you. But also in this exchange, we see that he's like point of view shot, looking at her neck, seeing Jenny there also behind him, or her eventually coercing him from behind Buffy, like touch her, drink her. Girl, like, do you want to fuck Buffy? Or you want him to fuck Buffy? Like, what's going on? Angel saying though that she needs to stay away from him, and she gets confused on this matter. She's like, you came to see me to ask me to not see you. Him inching toward her as she cries, telling him something is doing this to him and how he can control himself, and knowing that he is confused. Jenny again whispering he will never have to see them again and to think of the peace. Buffy asking how can she help him frantically grabbing at his head to shout leave me alone and lunging out of Buffy's bedroom window. I love this. Like, you can tell he's going kind of catatonic, being stressed out from this fucking shit. But it sucks from Buffy because she can't see the first tormenting him. And, like, I guess she knows that the entity's kind of there, but she doesn't know what's in the room. And she's just seen him spazzing the fuck out, like, freaking and wigging and, like, all this stuff.
Leave me alone.
I'm sure she was like,
you
we're
came
going
to me.
get
This
you a
is
nice...
my room.
That's what I'm saying. She's going to be like, we're going to set you up with a really nice therapist. I had one, but he died. Like,
my
we
mom
need
has
some counseling
weed.
for
Let's
you.
go smoke some right now.
Exactly.
He needs an exorcism. Like, damn.
I did want to notate though the way his heels hit the back of the fucking window.
Oh my
like
God.
That stunt double
So
has
funny.
no ankles at this point, because you always notice it very aggressively when he hops out the window. I was like, damn, they kept the shot where he didn't clear the window entirely.
An
like,
open window hates to see Angel coming.
Literally,
like,
That's
he
what I'm
will
saying.
dive like face first right outside
Shit.
every window.
Closed ones too at this point, because Buffy, that's the first time we ever saw him with a window, was when she threw him through it in Angel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, downstairs, obviously, Buffy is immediately telling Faith that she's got to stay with her mom in case he comes back, and kind of what just happened, but promising to inform her more later, leaving to go to Giles' home, telling him that they have to do something because Angel's slipping, and he needs to find her these priests, something that she can pummel because she thinks that they are losing him. Giles bringing to her awareness if he becomes a danger, she may have to kill him. And I love this because, like, when we're watching this, Courtney all goes again, and then Giles goes again, and she goes exactly. Like, she was saying it was so perfectly on par. She was like, "Oh, like, I'm doing good at this show." She's like, "Slayer up predicts
You
that
are,
them
you
bitches." Cutscene transition magic for the first time we have it really this episode, to Angel shouting at the first, aka Jenny, that he can't do it, because we clip off from the last one. She's like, she can't do it, and he's like, I can't do it. Her stating he's good for nothing else and he has to, enticing him more with lust for Buffy. Again, bitch, why are you so lustful for Buffy yourself? Like, and honestly, like, without spoilers, we can continue this in the future. He was never a fighter. Why start trying now? Also, sooner or later, he will drink her. He denies it and claims that he would before that happens. The first noting that he doesn't have the strength to kill himself, him claiming he doesn't need the strength, only the sun, walking out into the atrium and out of the mansion. Jenny yelling out, "You're not supposed to die."
This isn't the plan. But it'll do.
I might just keep.
Which is why I think it, like, really the first motivation is to turn them, like, she wants, not she, like, it. Sorry, it's an entity. It's not a like a thing.
We're using they, them here, Leia.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But I think what the first is honestly trying to do is, like, it wants to get rid of both of them, and it wants them to kill each other, or, like, at least one of them to kill the other, right? And I think this goes into, like, something else that will happen later, but that's
Text
like
me
a
the
theory.
episode you want to come on. She's like, one episode a season, I'll be there, but no.
Yeah. I'll be there. Yeah, pick one episode. Choose wisely.
It'll do. Well, in the library, Buffy and Giles continue to look for info, stumbling upon a passage in a book that triggers Buffy's dots to finally connect. Harbingers of death, nothing shall grow above or below. Cutscene transition over to the Christmas tree lot. I love how they put this in there earlier in front of our faces, and now we get the full circle moment. Buffy kicks down the gates for access and heads to the dead trees, grabbing an axe and hacking at the ground, dropping down into the hole that she's made. And I love how when she's watching this, Courtney's like, what is she doing? Why is she dropping down there? She could be dropping into nothing. Like, she don't even know she's just hopping. Like, and then she's down there and she goes, how's she gonna get back out of there? I was like, she's a slayer. Like, she would jump out. She's like, she's a slayer, not a cheetah. I'm like, all right, cool. Apparently she can jump 10 feet high now. Then we see the bringers and they're chanting, and I love how Buffy calls out to them, okay, 10 more minutes of chanting and then you guys got to go to bed.
Pretty
So
funny.
fucking funny. And obviously, like, it's just another testament to Buffy. She's down here to kick ass and do shit, but she's still got to say these little quips and
Yes.
like have the Buffy banter before she goes on, but also she's like sarcasming with these damn demons or whatever the hell these guys are down there, and I'm just like, you ain't never even seen them before and you shit, like, it's so funny.
She just has to let them know that they're not shit before she kills them.
Exactly. She takes them on, letting them know that they're not shit, knocking out 2 of them, and the third runs off because he says, I am shit. She destroys the altar as the first appears to her in the guise of Jenny, who is impressed Buffy has found them. Buffy claiming they won't get Angel, and the first going on the longest tangent about how it is the original evil, something that she can't conceive of, and that can't be fought by a little girl.
The first evil, beyond sin, beyond death. I am the thing the darkness fears. You'll never see me, but I am everywhere. Every being, every thought, every drop of hate.
All right, I get it. You're evil. Do we have to chat about it all day?
I love it because Buffy then is like, and I have this within the clip, but she's like, all right, I get it, you're evil. Do we have to chat about it all day? And I always remember that being like a tagline for Buffy promos, like in between like FX commercials. And that was always synced in there, like in the later seasons as like a callback thing. They always put that clip in there for the show, especially around seasons like maybe 4 and 5 or something like that. But I love that fucking quote. Iconic. Angel will be dead by Christmas sunrise, it claims, and Buffy disagrees, but not, telling Buffy that she has no idea what she's dealing with, and Buffy's smart-mouthing back one more time to it. Let me guess, is it evil? This pisses the first off royally, and it drops his guys as Jenny to appear as the actual larger phantom demonic entity with glowing red eyes, screaming to Buffy, dead by sunrise. You did not expect that. You're just not looking at the screen.
The script refers to the first monstrous form as the monstrous angel of death looking thing.
Oh,
that's what it looks like.
Yeah, looks like a cockroach is what it looks like. Cockroach crab.
Kind of, sort of. It's because it's hard to space all out. It definitely does give that whole kind of crab, like Cancerian energies. But we don't like cancers around here.
Hey, I'm just kidding.
I know.
She took everyone in my life. Like I knew that you were Cancer within the first second of that leaving his mouth because your eyes like changed and you were like.
I love it because this is how me and Leia talk to each other half the time in our chats and stuff when we're messing around. So since she came in here and spoiled stuff, I was like, I'm going to personally attack her this whole episode, call her out every 2 seconds, and every time her mouth has dropped, and
she's been holding a grudge this entire episode, basically.
Love it. Hey,
but in the best way because this is my favorite.
Cancer men we don't like, but Cancer women we like.
Oh, we can stand a Cancer queen. Okay, I got it.
But not Cancer men.
It.
I'm sorry.
Okay, you guys heard it here first on Revamped. Except if somebody steals it on another podcast and puts it on hers too.
We won't name any names, but it's been.
After I just said Juliet.
Okay, so anyways, dead by sunrise. Buffy's running out the mansion. That's what she's doing. Because obviously she looks through the mansion. She doesn't see him inside and follows outside to where he could possibly be. And I guess there's this big, nice hilltop over top of Sunnydale to outlook, on everything on the town right in Angel's backyard. Like it came with a view. Like we've never seen him out here before. Like how does she know? Does she is she a hound tracker that can smell
She feels him inside. Okay. She's pulled to him. Well, the magical dreams, blah, 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 mystical fairy dust.
So I always assumed that wherever this is like right behind the mansion. Like it's like it's like the backyard.
Obviously, yes. Yeah. I'm just like, this is so convenient for it to be here and overlooks the whole entire town. Okay. Yeah. Like this is also the same view we got, I think, from Makeout Point before as well. Like that was an Angel's backyard. This is what do they call it? I can't remember.
A mansion and a hill. So
that's what I'm saying. It's just another part of it we get to see, and I love it. Obviously, Buffy tries to get him inside immediately since we're moments away from the sun's appearance, which as a vampire, we're clued in, they can smell the sun long before it comes, which I thought was a cool little thing to add to like Buffy-specific vampire lore. Buffy again tries to explain that the thing that was haunting him was lying, but he claims it was showing him what he is, was, and ever shall be, having confirmation now on why he was back. Buffy calling this bullshit lies, him saying he can't become a killer again, and her telling him to fight it. He thinks it's too hard. Once again, she pleads with him to please get inside, him rehashing the dream and how it wanted him to kill her. She doesn't see why this matters, though, and he begins to shout cry at her. I want you so badly. I want to comfort you, blah, blah, blah.
I love your straight man voice there, Brandon. It was perfect. Very him, bro.
I wanted to, because I want you so badly. I want to take comfort in you. And I know it'll cost me my soul, and a part of me doesn't care. I'm weak. I've never been anything else. It's not the demon in me that needs killing, Buffy. It's the man.
I can't remember where my clip ends, but I know he says, like, I'm weak, not the demon in me that needs killing. It's the man. I think I have that whole clip to go in here.
That is such a good line.
It is absolutely. Buffy tells him everyone is weak, everyone fails, and maybe this evil did bring him back, and if so, it's because it needs him, which in turn means that he can hurt it. She tells him he has the power to do real good, to make amends, but if he dies in this moment, then all he ever was just a monster, begging him one more final time to get inside because the sun is coming up. And she's like, I apparently can see golden stuff coming up. She's just really good at this, apparently. He tells her to leave, and she's not having it, and she tries to pull him with her, the two exchanging blows that knock Buffy back to the ground as Angel moves to her, grappling her shoulders and shaking her, pleading to her, questioning, is he a thing worth saving? Is he a righteous man? The world wants him gone. Buffy looking at him with heavy tears to whimper out as Close Your Eyes notes begin to play.
What about me? I love you so much. And I tried to make you go away. I killed you and it didn't help. And I hate it. I hate that it's so hard. And that you can hurt me so much. I know everything that you did because you did it to me. I wish that I wished you did. I don't. I can't.
I love her. She's all innocent. She's like, but what about me? And this is always where I break down and start kind of crying with the episode. And I'm like, no, it's Angel. Oh my God.
It's so sad. And so
they have their whole
intense. Oh my
it's
God.
so intense, but it's so them, you know what I mean? It's so perfect too. And this isn't, I know we make jokes about it later and stuff, not us specifically, but the show kind of like pulls back and whatnot and makes jokes, but this is iconic Buffy and Angel. They can't just have nothing dramatized at all, so this is perfect for them. But it also carries so much like emotional weight and sentiment to like drive that home versus it just being one of those cliche moments. You know what I mean? This is peak Buffy Angel, like, I'm here for you, you're here for me, let's do this together type shit. And also just Buffy's words of empowerment, obviously, like without future spoilers, this kind of like is what helps to lead to like ground zero work of Angel, letting him know he can be part of the redemption. Obviously I'm skipping.
This is where like the mission statement of his redemption arc and his story starts. And it's just like amazing. And I just like, on the note of like the melodrama and all this stuff, like I don't know why in recent, like in modern times, whatever, lately, I feel like melodrama has been being used as some kind of like dirty word in media, where it's like, oh, it's melodramatic, therefore it can't be good, or like it's annoying,
cheesy,
or
it's
whatever.
Shallow. It's another word for shallow.
And I feel like, yes, like maybe there are instances where that could be the case, but I feel like if the story has the weight to justify the melodrama, then I don't see a problem with it. Like, I love a good amount of melodrama and drama in general. I love intensity when I'm watching something. And I feel like with Buffy and Angel, I love that the show makes fun of it at times. Like, it's very self-aware as to like how this relationship is, but I feel like it's never not earned. Like, the drama is always justifiable because the circumstances are so extraordinary, and the circumstances are like, if any other person were to be in this circumstance, they would be just as dramatic, you know? Like, 100%. This is Buffy watching the man she loves, like, wanting to end his life, and the desperation in both of them. Like, he wants to end it and she wants him to keep fighting. And it's like, this is like serious enough where the drama makes sense, you know? So I don't know. I just feel like we need to stop like treating drama and melodrama as some type of like dirty word, and see it as like, it's a tool to tell a story that like hits your emotions. And if it's good acting, if the storyline is good, like, it works. Like, I love it. So
I agree. And I didn't even get like that. Usually when I feel like people comment on that kind of stuff, I expect like what you get from like a soap opera or something, you know what I mean? And that it doesn't seem even close to that to me, you know what I mean? Like you said, it's very good acting, and like the circumstances around what we're always dealing with, especially with these two, always back up the need for it to be a little bit more intense. Like, what would it be if they're just having a casual conversation about everything that, you know what I mean? Like, there would be no delivery there. So I agree with that.
They nail their delivery every single time.
I often feel like when people talk about melodrama and melodramaticness, like there tends to be this, not to make it all like patriarchal, but sometimes there's a patriarchal view of like, you're showing too much emotion, so therefore it's melodramatic. And it's often like this idea that, okay, women can be melodramatic, but when you have a man, like, so David Boreanaz or Angel here is showing a lot of emotion this entire episode, but this moment in particular, he's in tears crying. That's not something you see a lot in media with straight men. And so I think that's why a lot of guys and sometimes people, like, we're uncomfortable with that because we don't see that very often. So it's easy to poo-poo it and dismiss it as melodrama because sometimes we're a little uncomfortable with seeing that level of emotion from not just a girl but also a guy here too. So slapping the label of melodrama makes us feel a little bit better about the uncomfortable emotions that we're feeling, you know?
True. Yeah. But at least he's on the screen putting it before us in the show. It once again hits it in a good way for us to be able to get the image and depiction of a male doing this, actually showing that he can be vulnerable, he can break down and do all this stuff, and that kind of helps bridge the gap of like saying it's not just women that can be like seen in this like field, like men can cry, which helps probably with men watching the show if they can relate to that, especially ones that have like grown up in the patriarchy or systematic, like like regular cis male like life. You're told like stiffen up, like be a man, like all this other stuff. And that doesn't mean that you have to connotate like I can't cry with that or I can't show emotion. I have to be this stern, physical, cold force, you know?
Totally. Especially a leading man. Like David Boreanaz is the leading man, like not just then, but even now. And he shows such a range of emotions. It's just, I don't know, it's a breath of fresh air when I watch it, you know?
Yeah. Well, the two rise crying together, him asking once more to let him do this, let him be strong. And as a champion herself, she advises that strong is fighting. It's hard and painful and every day, and it's what they have to do, and they can do it together. But if he's too much of a coward, then he can burn. If she can't convince him that he belongs in this world, then she doesn't know what can. Continuing on, but interrupted when snowflakes begin to fall. The two stunned, because, you know, snow was not a thing in California, especially Sunnydale, none the least. It pours down heavy, quickly covering the ground as Christoph Beck's score for AMENDS crashes in, showing us all our Scoobies witnessing this event. We pan back to Main Street, Sunnydale afterwards, where Buffy and Angel walk down the street together as we hear a newscaster saying randomly out of nowhere that this storm has come up and how the residents of Sunnydale can expect not to see any sunlight that day. The two continue down the street hand in hand, looking at each other happily together. We fade to black, and here endeth the episode. And that's it for minutes. I love how you clap. I've been clapping at the end of our episodes too. Like, yay, 10 more minutes and we're out of here.
Woo! Encore.
For real. I wrote about this. Obviously, it leads kind of into my themes and metaphor, but like I wrote, as cliche as it may sound, I really love the ending of the episode. The hilltop scene has stuck with me for years, and I remember watching it over and over again. And honestly, because I would act it out, like I'd be at like I was Buffy on the ground getting shook, and there was no one in the room with me. Angel was saying his lines. If y'all could be a fly on my wall, yeah. I was like, yeah, holding on to a pillow. I was nailing her delivery of her lines, though.
I love it.
But either way, like I said, it still lives rent-free in my head, though, as one of the top-tier Angel moments. I love when Buffy and Angel lean into that over-the-top, star-crossed drama with each other, but here it feels completely earned. There's so much at stake and so much being brought into the light. Pun absolutely intended. What makes it land even more, though, is that this is Buffy's chance to finally say some of the things that she's been holding in. Just a couple of episodes ago during the college talk, she asked Angel what he thought she should do with her future, and his answer pointed her away from him. And then in Lover's Walk, she admitted she could not keep being around him. All of that tension, the what are we doing question hanging over their heads, it gets stripped away, I feel like, in this episode, and especially right here. But for a moment, it's not about the impossible logistics of their relationship. It's more about survival and forgiveness and choosing to move forward. And that's obviously what we're going to see from Buffy and Angel is here basically as the precipice of that as well, moving on, whatever that means for them. We also get something so cleverly placed on the hilltop with her words, something that we will circle back to later on. But it's such a huge moment for Angel, as we've been alluding to this whole episode, and knowing what we all know, except for those who don't know. It makes her speech just hit that much more, like that it lands. Spoiler free, I will say Angel finds a reason to stay. Like on Earth, not necessarily with Buffy or in Sunnydale or anything like that, but he doesn't get to erase his guilt or the weight of his past. He does get this moment of reprieve, a reminder that he can keep living or unliving, and that he isn't completely alone. The final image of him and Buffy simply walking hand in hand down the street might not solve everything, but it's such a quiet human note after all the darkness. It seems that even if just for right now they can reconnect, and I guess that will be enough, you know?
Yeah.
I'm really sad we didn't get an off-screen clip also of Angel making snow angels in the ground. Angel. Like,
I just know they did that. They had to have.
Well, half that shit was probably like fluffed up stuff that they were like. I think they said that they laid down mats of like stuff, and they were actually kicking up like almost like carpet when they were walking, and they had to redo shots and stuff. But don't clock me for shit like that. I have a small paragraph for themes and metaphor I just went into briefly. Amends is about being haunted, not just by literal spirits, but by the weight of guilt, shame, and the things that we can't undo. Angel is confronted by the faces of his victims, and it becomes this metaphor for how our past clings to us, whispering that we're unworthy and can't move forward. The first evil doesn't create that guilt, it just amplifies it, turning the quiet voice of regret into a roar of despair. It shows how easy it is to believe the worst about ourselves when we're already carrying that darkness inside. What makes Angel spiral so powerful as he comes to believe that ending his life is the only way out, and it directly contrasts with Giles' quiet moment of hope in the previous episode when he says, I have to hope for a better world. Angel can't see that hope until the very last moment, when what saves him isn't reason or proof, but something much more mysterious, the miracle of snow. Once again, cliche as it is, it stands for something. And also, when we get a blanket of white over us or a cleansing energy, it gives a reset. How many times have you ever had snow and just like feel such a nice pause in life because there's stillness outside? You can like hear better, you feel better, the air changes, it's not as smogged up. Like, it's very interesting how they chose that. But it's as if the universe itself whispered back, not yet. That snowfall becomes a metaphor for grace, an unearned, inexplicable second chance that arrives not when we deserve it, but when we most need it. The episode also drives home that redemption isn't a destination you arrive at, it's a fight, a daily choice. Angel's story makes it clear that no amount of good deeds can erase the past, but the real question is whether you will still choose to keep trying. Redemption isn't likely reaching the top of a mountain and planting your flag, it's more like walking through a storm. You don't ever conquer it, you just keep moving forward step by step through that darkness. And then we have Buffy, because obviously we have to circle back some kind of metaphor for Buffy, as the show is about her. Her role here is obviously more romantic. She represents love as resistance, the force that pushes back against despair. She can't erase Angel's guilt, but she refuses to let him drown in it. The idea of saving him from himself says it all. She becomes the light in the dark winter, not the cure for this torment, but the tether that reminds him he isn't alone. All of this is magnified, obviously, by the holiday setting, and Christmas is supposed to be the season of light, warmth, renewal, but for Angel, it's nothing but cold and shadow. The show flips that symbolism on its head. Instead of peace on Earth, he feels torment on Earth, and yet the snowfall at the end restores that meaning in the most literal way, a blanket of peace falling over Sunnydale, turning despair into hope. By placing the story at Christmas, the show amplifies both the depth of Angel's suffering and the miracle of his reprieve, reminding us that even in the darkest winter, grace can still break through. And here's where I shut up. I sound like Sarah over on her show.
Rude.
No, this is the part where like Leah and Tabby's like minds would be like,
yeah, they'd be like, and then I end and they've already clocked off. They're like, we're done. We're gone.
Yeah, we're done.
No, so well said.
I know, right? We got to break it down. But
I
obviously,
know, right?
Listen, I spend time like sitting here like talking to this, and then I have to rephrase it.
Oh my gosh!
Whatever. Thematically, this episode wrestles with whether true amends can be made for sins of the past, or whether redemption lies in continuing the fight. And we see which one Angel chooses. That bringing me to the point of choice again, being here as an ever-present theme for season 3. Here we see the past can't be erased, but choosing to live and do good in itself is a form of amends. And then I'll close it off there because obviously that's enough about amends. Buffy fun facts, the one that Sarah burned off is already done. The episode story follows the premise of a well-known Charles Dickens novella, A Christmas Carol, obviously with the like Tale of Christmas Past. I was like the Ghost of Slayer's Past kind of vibe is like what this is. The mutant enemy monster in the end credits, which I did not let Courtney see, unfortunately, because we have to click off the episode before it puts the title of the next one. He like comes across the screen in a Santa hat when we can hear bells jingling. Have you ever watched all the way to the end of the episode, Courtney, and seen the $100 sign come up and see the little monster that's on the back of my Jeep that goes grr, arg, when he's walking across the screen.
Is this still going on? Yeah, it would still be going on in season 3. My bad.
Yes. Well, that's still the end of the series. Is it?
Does it?
Is it not? I'm pretty sure it's to the very last episode.
The very last episode.
And
on
Angel.
One.
Okay, and on Angel.
Yeah.
Because it's always Mutant Enemy Productions that puts out the show, and that's their logo. I'm gonna have to show it to you in the future, but this is a clip where like it's usually just a white and black silhouette monster walking across the screen and making that grr noise, and they put a little Santa hat on him, so he looks like that walking by. At the end of Becoming Part 2, I said it in our fun facts there, he walks by and he goes, "Oh, I need a hug," like because he's sad because of Buffy and Angel. You guys have to all remember the Buffy Christmas sweepstakes commercials that were airing on TV. If not, you've seen them. Like they were so iconic. She's like on the fucking call 1-800. Yeah, I'm gonna send it to Courtney because I couldn't show it to her beforehand. But like, and obviously she doesn't see Buffy content. But that promotion's really cool. I think it's good. I see it every now and again, especially around when people are doing coverage of this.
The person who won the sweepstake was in an episode 9 or episode 20 of this season as an extra.
Oh. Well, that's the prom. Courtney's seen that, so that's fine.
Okay.
We'll look for that. We'll look for the extra.
I don't know what she looks like, but apparently she it was a girl and she won and she was an extra in the prom.
I think there's pictures of her with some of the other.
Oh, there is.
I think so, but
probably.
Yeah. This is very.
Yeah, cool. I better get to take my pictures with these bitches whenever they if I'm on the show. Like I want everybody. You better call Snyder in here too.
Yep.
In the original version of the script, Buffy's answer to Faith was supposed to actually be a little bit longer. She was supposed to say, to Joyce about Faith. She was going to say, I'll ask her, worst she can do is, and then she's supposed to say, well, the worst she can do is serious bodily harm, but she probably will just say no. Like, and I was like, well, I get why they took that out because it just doesn't add really to anything except to remind us that Faith's a little violent. And that's kind of where I chose to leave that at. So now I guess we can get into our final slays and wrap this up.
Final slays.
Final slays. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Season's greetings. I meant to say that at the beginning of the episode too, but I emailed that to y'all. I was like, look at these bitches. They probably opened my email being like, this motherfucker. Okay, what do we got for quotes this episode? I guess maybe Courtney, Sarah, Lea.
Okay, mine is my first one. Is when Xander's talking to Buffy and he's like, oh yeah, it must be the whole killed his girlfriend and tortured him thing. Giles can be pretty petty about that stuff. And then the second one is Buffy and Joyce's exchange when they were getting the Christmas trees, and Buffy suggests Giles to come over, and Joyce real quickly is like, no, I'm sure he's fine.
I loved, of course, strongest fighting. It's hard and it's painful and it's every day because like iconic, but just like Angel's like multiple of his moments where he says, am I a thing worth saving? Am I a righteous man? Just like makes me cry every time.
Why are you stealing my lines, Sarah?
I'm sorry. That one. And then I forget what the other one was. There's just like so many in that moment, especially between Buffy and Angel, are just so good. The one I think where he was talking about how like the world wants him dead and how he's like really weak. I forget where it was, but yeah,
it's
I just
love
love
that needs killing. It's
yes,
not the demon that needs killing. It's the man.
That one. That's what it was. That one. Oh, like I love how subversive this episode is in a lot of ways. How like you expect it to have a happy ending, and it's Christmas, so there's redemption, all that stuff, and then you find out that it's not Angel that hates the demon. It's Angel who hates himself. He hates every aspect of himself, especially the humanity part of himself, because that's the part of him that wants Buffy. That's the part of him that he sees as weaker. And I don't know. It's just, so good. Anyway, I keep going. Yeah, that's all mine.
Yeah, I mean, the lines that I picked was the strongest fighting. It's hard and it's painful and it's every day. It's what we have to do. We can do it together. Oh, it's so good.
And start a podcast, Lea. Let's talk about it.
Let's go. Let's go again. And then obviously, like, am I a thing worth saving? Am I a righteous man? I mean, that whole scene on the hilltop is just like so beautiful. All of the lines in that scene, 100%. Like, yeah, that line about how like it's not the demon that needs killing, it's the man. And like, I just love how this episode kind of intertwines all of Angel's like different sides into one person. And like you said so succinctly, Brandon, like this is all about like the idea of like choice being the ultimate thing. And I just love that regardless of all of the things that Angel is, he still can choose to do good.
Yeah.
and that's where the episode ends. So yeah, those are my favorite lines. Sorry, I
like really
veered off a little bit.
No, you're fine.
No, it's
Really
okay.
random. I don't know if you guys have seen Midnight Mass on the Netflix show.
Yeah.
You watched Courtney watched that's vampires too, isn't it, or something like that?
I don't know if
like
it is or
take on
not.
it? Oh,
It's about like religious. I'm in the middle of watching it right now, but it's like about like a religious trauma and religious abuse and stuff. And there's a character in there who's dealing with he overdosed or like he drank too much and then he ended up killing a girl. Like that's his entire thing. And so he's in an AA meeting with this priest at one point, and they're talking about higher power. And the guy was like, well, have you heard of RRR? And I don't remember what the acronym stands for, but basically instead of it being a higher power, it's the idea that you are your own higher power because you learn to compartmentalize and separate out inside your mind of like, there's a part of me that desires the alcohol, desires the drink, whatever else it is, but I am separate and I am different and I can control that. And so it's really cool. Like I think about that when watching this episode. It was so cool. We watched the episode today and I was like, oh, this makes sense. But this idea of the episode having a higher power, but at the end of the day, it's about choice because Angel makes a decision not to die and not to take his own life. And so it's almost kind of it's kind of in that same vein of like, there could be a higher power that sent the snow that gave Angel that second chance, that opportunity. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because Angel's the one who made the decision and the choice to come down off of that mountaintop. And I think that just like goes along really well.
I think it's made even more clear. So just for Courtney, like in the next episode, there's going to be a scene that like really kind of reaffirms that. I'm sorry, it's just I'm not spoiling it, but like I know that people watch this episode. I know that people watch this episode and they're just like, oh, like, you know, we don't really know what happens, but it does get resolved is all I'm saying. Like it's
a breadcrumb.
Yeah.
We accept breadcrumbs around here.
But I love this idea of choice and how it's about the decisions that you make on a day-to-day basis. And that's ultimately what Buffy's fighting for in this moment with Angel. And it's just really cool.
Okay, so my quotes.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I love it. It's cool. It's so relevant and it works out. Like I don't care. Like this is what the whole point of podcasting is. When things come up, even if it's from a quote, we start having another tangent about something and it expresses something that maybe others have not heard before. Like
editing this.
Yes, thank you so much. So I like whenever Xander's commenting to Buffy after they leave Willie's and he's like, we go underground, that's the start. And Buffy's like, sure, in a town with 14 million miles of sewer. And then Xander specifically this part where he's like, plus a lot of natural cave formations and a gateway to hell. I'm like, okay. I said it earlier, nothing like a fire to keep away the blistering heat. I just love how Buffy like is so quippy in her moments. Like she's like, her mom is just messing with a fire and this bitch is still like bring in the heat, like in her sarcasm. I like Buffy whenever she said 10 more minutes of chanting and then you guys have to go to bed. I just love when she sarcasms apparently. And then at the very end, obviously another sarcasm moment when she says, all right, I get it, you're evil. Do we have to chat about it all day? And then she follows that up later whenever that bitch says, you have no idea what you're dealing with. Whenever and she always brings it back. Let me guess, evil. And then you just know that first is like, I'm done. And that's obviously where it executes the whole like, I'm a big fan from Crab thing. So funny. Who would you guys give Shining Slayer to this episode?
I know Buffy.
I'm going to give it to Angel.
Yeah, I was going to say, I give it to Angel as well. Like, I know it's like because Buffy does a lot of work, but Angel fought hard too.
Yeah. He was tormented all episode and he made it out, which is a big accomplishment for somebody who was literally about to burn up in the sun. Yeah. Poor Angel. God.
Where did you land, Courtney?
Same. The exact same thing. I did give a little credit to Buffy, obviously, but mainly because I feel like she had that moment where she connected the dots and was like, oh yeah, the dead Christmas trees, like these fuckers are down here somewhere. So it was like, if it wasn't for that, then we don't know how long it would have taken to like get to where we needed to go. So I did give a little credit to her for that.
Yeah, I gave her because Angel was mine, but in the credit that I gave for Buffy as the second up, I was like Buffy for fighting for Angel and then her speech to him at the end. Like that's like just for me, like if without Buffy, Angel would not exist. Like on all levels, especially this time around. So I think it's very important and once again leads us to other stuff. So
I think this episode's like it's so hard because like I said earlier, every single character gets a shining moment. Like you could say also Giles Slade for putting aside his differences.
That's true.
And like helping
that could
Angel.
be your that Slade moment.
Yeah. And then even Xander, he puts aside his differences and helps Angel too. And like Oz and Willow, they also kind of like put aside their problems to try to like connect and be mature about things. And yeah, I love that this episode gives you so many options of like characters just being the best version of themselves and helping somebody else out. So
what was giving you guys the weekly wigs?
Jenny being so like weirdly lover-like in her approach, like a good Wiggins. Like it's like, ooh, I hate it, but also like, ooh, this is so evilly diabolical. I love watching it. You know.
Mine was Faith's hotel room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dirty. Looks dirty. Looks like it has mold in there.
Exactly.
Oh,
Black mold is in there for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that was gonna be the first layer that dies from black mold poisoning or whatever the fuck you get from that. Like, they're like, well, the next layer is activated.
Yeah.
They're like, she didn't go out fighting, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
She entered into a coma first and then just died in her sleep in the hospital.
Oh my god, that's so morbid.
I'm just kidding. Faith would never go in a coma. Anyways.
Oh no, never.
What was yours?
Mine, the only thing that I could think of was just like Cordelia's rude ass, just like exposing Xander's like childhood trauma.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of gave me the Wiggins.
Okay.
That was kind of mean, but I mean, what's new?
Yeah.
I like y'all bring good ones to the table. So myself, I couldn't figure out one for a while. I actually came here this morning and I was like, it's still blank. And I was like, oh, okay. This is the only thing I didn't have in here. But then I started like thinking about it and I was like, okay, what really stood out to me as something that would like freak me out? And I kind of landed on the side of like, versus being like wigged out by someone in a certain character or demeanor, like out of fear is what was giving me the Wiggins whenever... Like the whole thing with Margaret, whenever specifically she's crying out to Angel, like, I have a son, and him, he's like, well, he make a fine dessert. I just thought about that. I was like, damn, imagine getting killed by a vampire and you expressing something like, I have kids. He's like, oh, I'm taking care of them next. I'm taking your wallet and getting your ID. And you know, you're dying in that moment and he's going to go kill your kids afterwards. So they're not safe. Like, at least you were the one that was plucked out. So I was like, that kind of like made me feel weird, but it also just gives me the Wiggins all over again for Angelus for all the stuff that he does back in the day and the way he's like just very intricate in his design for murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
good point.
That was the one I landed on. That Slade moment, our new category. Last time Sarah was here, we did not have that. Well, no, we did, didn't we? Because I think Robbie was the one that brought this to par. So, like, I think you did have it. I don't remember. It's been so long ago. It was like 12 episodes ago we did that. Anyways. I'm gonna go first, I guess. Faith coming into Buffy's house for Christmas and getting off her high horse and coming back to her girl was mine.
Love it.
That's a good one. Mine was Giles holding up the crossbow and saying, I'm aware, when Angel reminds him that he can't come in until he's invited. I was like, damn, Giles.
Spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine's gonna be the dream sex. Like, I'm sorry, that was just so fire. Like, that slayed so hard.
The whole thing.
I'm just like, but the thing is, like, they were both in it. Like, they technically had sex because they were both in the dream.
You're like tripped out. You're like, they astral projected into each other's like dream space.
Like, how
like Billy, his
whoever did it
body.
like them, whoever did it, nobody has ever done it like them. Okay,
that's true. So we'll give them that.
It's gonna be the dream sex for me.
I love the moment with Giles and Angel in that scene, but I think it would be Oz having a very mature conversation in the classroom with Willow for me. Like, I just every time I watch it, I'm just like, oh, what a king!
So good.
King.
We all came from the important angles of what was most important from the episode.
There's
so I love
so much in this episode. It's like, how do you choose?
Yeah.
So much.
All right. Slayerette predictions, our last one for Courtney. The next episode is entitled Gingerbread.
Ooh.
I thought you said there weren't any more Christmas themed episodes.
It has nothing to do with that.
It's giving Christmas vibes. Okay. Gingerbread. I don't know. Is it about a witch and like a Hansel and Gretel situation? Are kids getting tossed into an oven? I don't know. That's what I have.
You think in Gingerbread House, that you can tell she's of German descent and her German folklore.
Who doesn't think of a gingerbread house when you
hear
the word gingerbread?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
The season.
True. Well, okay, interesting. I was going to think I was going to have to give you. I wrote down a breadcrumb to give you, but I don't think I have to give it to you anymore because once again,
okay,
that's
cool.
another one.
This was one of the good ones. Okay, I'm here for that.
Yeah. All right, everyone. That's going to wrap up our coverage of Amends. Sarah, it was a pleasure to have you back, and Lea, thank you so much for joining us for the first time. We know this won't be the last time that we see the both of you around here, or one or the other if y'all decide to break up. You want to let everyone know where they can find you so folks can go back and binge all of your amazing recaps on both Buffy and Angel, even though sadly they've now wrapped up.
Yeah, well, you guys can find Becoming Buffy. We've covered all 7 seasons of Buffy on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, on any podcast platform, Becoming Buffy podcast. It's pretty fun. We wrapped it up. We're on hiatus right now, but we'll be back at some point with something else someday, sometime. So check us out.
And then for Investigating Angel, same idea. We're on all platforms. We've covered all 5 seasons of Angel, so that's out now. And I don't know, I thought we did a pretty good job, so you should go check it out.
Y'all did. It's my favorite Angel podcast. I've only listened to like fewer of those.
There's only like 3
and I'm not
Angel
just saying that to
podcasts.
gas you up right now.
Yeah,
it's the best.
Yeah, thank you.
But it's the best out of those 3, god damn it.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I mean, obviously one's still continuing, so I can't like talk about that one. You know, props to girls. But we shout them out too, because obviously listen to them as well if you need more Angel content. If these bitches don't do it for you and you want double the energy, double the time, that's how you do it.
I feel like like us and Prophecy Girls do it very differently.
Yeah.
It's 2 like very different vibes.
Yep.
So.
And then you can catch each of them on each other's shows. So there we go.
Exactly. Yeah.
But also, we would like to hear from you all listening. What did you think of this one? Do you enjoy the Christmas Carol vibes that Amends leads into? How do you feel about this deep dive into Angel's journey and that moment with Buffy and him at the end? Does it get you teary-eyed like it does me? And how are we all feeling about Oz and Willow finally being back together? Send us your thoughts, write in, and let's keep the conversation going. We'll be back here next week covering Gingerbread. So until then, happy holidays.
Buffy, please. Just this once. Let me be strong.
Strong is fighting. It's hard, and it's painful, and it's every day. It's what we have to do, and we can do it together. But if you're too much of a coward for that, then burn. If I can't convince you that you belong in this world, then I don't know what can. But do not expect me to watch. And don't expect me to mourn for you, because
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Buffy on Revamped. Remember to join us next week for a new episode release as we continue our journey through Sunnydale. We also would like to hear from you, so share your thoughts. Discuss with us your perspectives on this or previous week's episodes by following us on Instagram and sending us a DM at revamped_rewatch podcast.
Or by emailing us at revampedrewatchpod@gmail.com. Additionally, we will be choosing one of your messages to shout out in an upcoming episode release. And if you happen to love abandoned places but prefer them vampire-free, check out Echoes of Elsewhere, an urban exploration podcast, where I interview urban explorers about the eerie spaces they uncover, anything from haunted schools, forgotten mansions, and tunnels that probably don't lead to the Hellmouth. From history to mysteries, tips and tricks of the trade, I dive into all things urbex. Subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Until next time, the Earth is definitely doomed.
This podcast is dedicated to the Buffyverse, to its fans, and my sister, Tiffany Dawn Pearson.